Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Gamer's Grotto. Tonight we're going to be playing the second DLC for the Atari 50th Anniversary Collection. This one's called The First Console War. This is a DLC which covers the console war between Atari and Intellivision. And joining me, of course, again, is Stu's Game Reviews, who is an avid Atari collector himself and knows probably a lot more about these games than I do. More than likely.
I just have one question.
Yes.
What's an Atari?
Okay, well, apparently I'm wrong, so we're just going to kick him off of the... No, I'm just joking.
I'm just kidding. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Good to be back on the channel.
Yeah. So we're going to hop right into
Make sure you just end this stream right now and go to my channel, Stu's Game Reviews.
How are you guys?
Hey, Lewis, how are you doing, buddy? I got a question for you, actually. Since you're watching this, is there any static on either one of our mics as we're talking? Is there any interference? Is everything A-okay? Can you hear Stu? Can you hear me? Stu, say something so we can hear you.
Well, I'm not going to talk over you, but yeah. Hello.
We just want to make sure the audio is perfect so you guys can hear us. But yes, this is the...
My mic is some kind of interference. That's so ironic.
There you see, Stu's mic has the interference, not mine. He was telling me earlier that it was my mic, the mother freaking... Okay.
Well, I hear stuff on my end from you, but I guess to me, okay, whatever. Sorry.
No, you're good. But you can hear him okay, though, correct? Like you can still understand what he's saying. We just want to make sure that that everything's going good.
Hold the mic closer to my face. He's not talking. Just do whatever.
All right. In the meantime, so let's start this out. The first console war.
You can hear his lovely voice.
You can hear his lovely voice. Well, that's good. Well, that's the important
That's
thing.
so sweet. I appreciate that.
There you go.
By the way, before we get started, Gamer's Grotto, sure. I just want to mention that today it was announced, I believe today, or maybe it was yesterday, it was announced that a new game is coming out for the Atari 2600 on, well, the orders are opening on November 25th, and then the game is supposedly being released in December. It's called Casey's Gold. And it's by Dan Kitchen, but from Audacity Games, the people that made a couple of other games recently, a couple of new games for the Atari 2600. So the company's owned by like Garrett Kitchen and David Crane, and this is Dan Kitchen, who was also a classic Atari programmer. I put this new game, Casey's Gold. It was originally supposed to be a sequel to Keystone Capers. I think it still is a sequel to Keystone Capers, but maybe they changed something because of licensing, because it's not Activision, obviously, anymore. But I just saw the trailer for it. It looks really cool. So just as an Atari stream, I wanted to throw that out there if anybody's interested. Casey's Gold coming out next month at some point.
That's actually really interesting. I appreciate you sharing that. So we're going to hop right into this right now. The first console war. When Intellivision challenged the Atari 2600's dominance, their battle set the stage for every historic gaming rivalry that followed.
And obviously, the reason why Atari is able to do this is because they bought Intellivision recently. They bought I don't know everything. They didn't buy the Amico, but they bought pretty much all the assets of Intellivision from Tommy Tallarico's company. And actually, I bought an Intellivision T-shirt recently from Atari, which is pretty cool, which I get a lot of compliments on.
I keep forgetting that Tommy owns Intellivision. Basically, that's interesting.
Well, it doesn't really anymore. I think all he owns now is the Amico. I think everything else was bought by Atari.
There was talks about him bringing out a newer Intellivision for the longest time, because I have him on my Facebook, and he was constantly promoting the upcoming Intellivision that his company's working on. Is that no longer a thing? Is he not doing that?
So that Intellivision, that's what I'm talking about. That was the Intellivision Amico, MICEO.
Okay, so
sorry,
that
AMICO.
Okay,
So that's the only thing Atari did not buy. Because Atari, I think, probably thought it was, they don't want it, it's probably garbage. But, I mean, who knows if it'll ever come out. But Atari does not own that. That's the only thing they don't own. I think they bought everything else from them.
Ah, gotcha.
From this company.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's hop right into this. Whose side are you on? What if the company behind the Intellivision also created cartridges for the Atari 2600? The answer was M Network, and the story starts in the late 1970s. Mattel Electronics.
They call it M Network. Yeah, it's interesting they call it M Network, because M Network was the name that they used, that like Mattel used when they published their games on the Atari. So like when they published on the Intellivision, it said like Mattel Electronics or whatever, but when they took the same game and they ported it over to the Atari, the name of the brand was M Network. I don't know why. I don't think that was the name of the company, though. It was just the name of the brand they used, I think.
Mattel Electronics, a successful toy manufacturer since the mid-1940s. Mattel expanded into handheld electronic games with Auto Race in 1976 and football in 1977. When both became huge hits, the fledgling Mattel Electronics division looked for its next electronic success.
Did you play the Mattel football back in the day?
No, I never. I'm not a big sports fan of games. I mean, I'm not really into the sports games.
I mean, neither am I, but like it was a handheld, like just one-off game. Mattel, it was like one of the first electronic games that was very popular. I just played that one game, and like I remember, like when I was a kid, like every kid had not every kid, but like a lot of kids had this thing, or like they had like baseball, which is like the next one they made. Anyway, it was pretty cool. This is like the auto race one, but they made one for football as well.
Yeah, I definitely don't remember that. That's for sure. I think that was before my time.
I'm going to stream that at one point.
Intelligent television. Atari's success with the VCS led Mattel to consider the potential of a TV-based gaming machine. However, the cutting-edge Intellivision would come from humble beginnings within the toy maker's halls. This is a video, 4 minutes and 2 seconds. So we're going to mute our mics and watch the video, and then afterwards, if we have any thoughts on the video, we will talk about it.
Wait, can I talk during the video and heckle the video?
Before my time. That's what she said.
The success of the Atari VCS, Mattel, as a toy company, looked at this and said, maybe we should consider getting into this business.
They started their Mattel Electronics division releasing handheld games. Their handheld football, which was an LED game, was a smash hit.
Somebody had the idea.
I'm just restarting that with captions on because, again, the audio is so fucking low on these videos, like last time.
Mattel, as a toy company, looked at this and said, maybe we should consider getting into this business.
They started their Mattel Electronics division releasing handheld games. Their handheld football, which was an LED game, was a smash hit.
Somebody had the idea that the TI, Texas Instruments calculator chip, could also be used for games. It worked in calculators, we could make a game out of it. That's where those handheld games came from.
When I first saw it, I'm like, how is this football? Because the field is only this big. How is this 100 yards? And then, of course, you play it and you realize you have to go multiple times to get a touchdown. But, oh man, it was great.
The Atari VCS was being sold in toy stores. Mattel did not like giving up shelf space and consumer dollars in toy stores. And I think as much as anything, it's that sense of holding your position, holding market share in the toy industry. That plus the sense that there was a potential here, I think, is what drove the decision.
Mattel saw that Atari was making lots of money, hand over fist, making video games, and decided to make their own console, which they called the Intellivision.
they had an outside consulting group make a set of initial games for the machine for the playtest.
They contracted with a company run by a man named Glenn Hightower to develop the system and develop cartridges for it. So he ran this company, APH Technology Consultants. Mattel found him and contracted him and his company to produce the system and the games. And in 1979, the end of 1979, they test marketed the Intellivision, and then it went full release in 1980.
They test marketed
Yeep, it would be better if Stu talks over the videos.
Fresno, California, and it tested out great. And this was late 1980, and that was when the radio ad got put on the radio. I was actually driving home from work one day, and I heard an ad on the radio, and the ad said, "Do you want to work in the exciting world of video games?" And I didn't know whether to look down at the radio or look up to God. I was being talked to it this way. And would you like to help shape the future of this exciting new entertainment medium? At first, they did not believe that I had been programming video games for 9 years. Eventually, they realized I was telling the truth, and I got hired as one of the original 5 in-house programmers at Mattel. So the original 5 team members at Intellivision on day one were Gabriel Baum, who was our manager, Mike Minkoff, John Soule, myself, Rick Levine. The consultants at APH who had been working on the test market games also continued to stay involved, and they also were working on games in parallel to us. But like modern video game companies, Mattel realized they wanted to control the development themselves, and that's why they built an in-house team. If you were a toy designer, or you worked for the toy company, you turned left and you went into what was then a modern office tower. If you turned right, you went down into where we were, except that was a converted warehouse.
The entire video game division, we were in a separate building. And at lunchtime, we were allowed to walk down this middle corridor to the lunchroom, and everybody's doors in the toy company, all the doors were closed. And it was like, you're not allowed to go into any of those doors. It was very like, secret, secret, secret. And then we would go and we'd have lunch, and then we'd go back. And one day we're walking down that corridor, and some like little like motorized car was zooming around. It was like, oh, there's life, there's a toy, but it went through a door and it closed. And so we were outsiders.
Okay.
So Lewis says he wants me to talk over the videos. He says the videos are too boring without me talking, and I'm much more interested in the videos, apparently.
Well, I mean...
A couple of comments. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
A couple of comments. First of all, one of the guys, the first guy that they quoted there, the older guy, it's Don. I'm not sure you pronounce his last name. It's Daglow or Daglow. I think it's Daglow. But he said basically that he was working on the Intellivision, and he'd already been making games for like almost 10 years. They didn't believe him, which is true. He made some of the earliest games on mainframe computers. He's credited for like a baseball game that came out in 1971. Well, it wasn't like a commercial release, but he wrote a baseball game for mainframes in 1971. And then that eventually, the code for that eventually got like turned into a game called World Series Major League Baseball on Intellivision. It actually had speech and stuff like that. So he was he's made like tons and tons of games. If you look him up, like in, on Moby Games or whatever, he has credits that go out until the 2000s. Actually, he looks like he was a dialogue consultant for Lord of the Rings Gollum in 2023. I'm not sure what dialogue consultant means, but anyway, this guy's been around for a long time. And the second guy that they showed is my friend Leonard Herman, who's the guy who wrote the book Phoenix, which is like the history of video games. And there's been like Phoenix 1, Phoenix 2, Phoenix 3, Phoenix 4. Every time he makes a new edition, he adds a number basically. And he's now working on Phoenix 5. So he's like actually maybe the first video game historian. And he was like a good friend with Ralph Baer as well. So anyways, super nice guy. I wanted to throw that out there.
Interesting.
I feel like when you say interesting, you're like, oh, that was so boring. That was interesting.
No, I'm being honest. I'm not. No. Shut up.
That was the most boring thing I ever heard in my life.
No. No.
It was interesting to me, damn it! Sorry, go ahead.
No, I can't remember what I was going to say, but no, the one thing that
It probably wasn't so interesting.
Yeah. The one thing I do have to say is that these videos...
Yeet without the sarcasm.
Interesting without the sarcasm. So the one thing I have to say about these videos is, again, the quality of these videos is really bad. Like, I don't understand what kind of a mic they're using to mic up these people that they're interviewing with, but I mean, the quality is terrible. And I mean, even when...
It looks like they just did it on YouTube. It looks like they just did it on, like, not YouTube, like on Discord or something, because, like, you could see, like, Leonard Herman, the quality of his camera was also very low, so they probably just did, like, an interview with them on Discord or something like that, is my guess.
Yeah, but still, you should... I mean, post-editing, you should be fixing the audio on your videos. Like, I mean, the quality... I mean, I ended up having to do was filter out our mics entirely for the course of that video just to get any kind of volume out of it, and even then it was low. So then I had to turn on the closed captioning. It's like, dude, what the hell?
Well, I have another problem with the editing. Like I said, that video just ended very abruptly. It was just sort of like, you know, it seemed like a bunch of clips that were taken out of context, like it just, you know, stapled together basically. There was no order to it that I could tell.
No, it just slap banged together. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Yeah. All right.
Well, you paid for it, sucker.
it's a $10 DLC. Okay. Intellivision arrives after a successful test during. The other thing to mention is I'm not necessarily paying for these videos. I'm more so paying for the games that you get to play. Right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, if it was just the videos and nothing else, they wouldn't be charging $10 for it. They'd be charging like $2-3. Because nobody's going to pay.
Probably charging anything for it.
Yeah, exactly. But because it comes with 19 more games for the collection, that to me is worth the $10. Not these stupid interviews where you have to have like those old-fashioned hearing aids just to be able to hear them. Those little horns you shove into your ear or whatever they were. Intellivision arrives. After a successful test during the 1979 holiday season, the Intellivision rolled out nationwide in early 1980, offering 10 games and the promise of add-ons that would turn the console into a home computer. Mattel priced the machine at $299, a full $100 more than the Atari VCS.
And it looked a lot better than the Atari, too. I mean, this machine only came out 2 years later, but, I mean, the graphics on it are pretty good. They're not, like, amazing. It's not like they blew the Atari out of the water completely, but they're definitely better.
It looks like a phone and answering machine. Are we sure this is the Intellivision? They didn't just screw up and take a picture of an answering machine?
So those are the controllers. They had weird controllers, but the idea with the controllers was, like, They thought, like, you know, Atari joysticks only has one button, so we'll make it like 100 buttons, you know. It did look like a phone keypad, but, like, almost every game came with an overlay that you slid into the controller, and then it covered the buttons, and then each of the buttons did something different, like, based on the overlay. So, like, you know, if it was a shooting game or whatever, a space game, you may say fire over here, or, like, hyperspace over there, and some of the buttons did nothing. That's basically how it worked. But then the bottom thing is, like, instead of the joystick, they have this little disc, and you put your thumb on it and you move it around, and it's okay. But it takes some getting used to. It's not like it's not a touchpad really. The disc like sort of moves around. When you move your thumb, the disc moves with you. If that makes sense. It has a very narrow range of motion, but like that inner circle moves a little bit in the outer circle, and it's sort of like a mouse or something like that, but not. It barely moves. So like. It's like a D-pad, I guess. It's sort of like a D-pad, except it doesn't actually press down. It's just like you pull it to the side, and it takes some getting used to for sure.
Interesting. All right, so we got another video. 5 minutes and 12 seconds now. Playing and programming the Intellivision, interacting with the VCS and the Intellivision felt as different to players as it did to its programmers. Both groups share their experience.
That lady was super interesting before, so. I'm super
Why
sure
they
someone
made the console with the kind of wood, like combining the furniture with your console.
Lewis says,
So
why did they
that
make
was the style.
why did they make the console
Yeah,
with
go
that
ahead.
kind of wood? It's like combining furniture with a console.
That was totally the style back then. Like the original Atari also had a wood grain on it, the Atari 2600 or VCS. So that was like the style. And there's other consoles that have wood grain as well. And then eventually that was like this whole style of the late '70s, make everything with like fake wood on it, and then afterwards that would have a
I mean, they
favor,
did that with the cars of the '70s too. Everything. Do you remember the dashboard of cars? That's what I was like. Did they steal that from the dashboard of my car?
It's basically the same thing, yeah. But the console definitely did not look very sleek.
No. It looks very bland, actually. Not like today's
also,
consoles.
by the way,
it's not like today's consoles.
Also, by the way, you go ahead.
I was going to say, it's not like today's consoles where it's more about the futuristic elements. Like, I'm sure you've seen the design of the PS5 and how sleek it looks. They didn't just, they didn't just rip off part of a table and shove it on the console.
Right. The other thing I was going to say was that the controllers are hardwired in.
Yeah.
So if your controller broke, you unless you knew what you were doing, it was very hard to replace it. The later models of the television had detachable controllers, but the original one did not.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to hop into this second video. Again, I apologize for the quality of the audio. Unfortunately, that's something I cannot fix myself. I would say write to Atari and demand that the videos are recorded outside of a shoebox. Anyway, let's watch this video.
Atari developed this joystick, which is just a stick coming up, and you can move it with the Atari in 8 different directions: forward, backward, left, right, and then the 4 diagonals. And that controlled the object on the screen. Intel decided to go better than that. Intel controller is a rectangle with this disc on the bottom, a round disc, but 12 buttons over it. Anyway, what the disc was, you can press it in any of 16 directions, and that controlled what goes on the screen. If you're used to a joystick, it's difficult to work with.
I didn't like the controller. I didn't like the controller. I didn't like it.
I mean, a joystick with a button, that feels like a video game. This other one felt like an accounting package.
The Intellivision had the bad interface versus the joystick. Things like that were just things you would argue over all the time.
It felt maybe even like the games were very soft. They weren't edgy.
So this is what feels to start becoming deaf. Interesting, this time with sarcasm.
Meant that every game had to run at 60 frames per second.
Like even today we had discussions like, can we get to 60 frames a second? And like every Atari game that exists is 60 frames a second, because if they didn't, they have to hit that or the screen won't draw, you know? So no Atari game has any sort of lag or anything, because they had no option to have lag.
How many 2600 games were made? 600 in the original few years of the console? That was possible because the software controlled everything, and in the Intellivision, the hardware did what it could do and nothing else.
Out of all the systems I've worked on, the one actually that kind of bested me was the Intellivision, because it's such a unique architecture.
The instruction set for the Intellivision was not an 8-bit instruction set. General Instruments made it 10 bits wide. So when we wrote instructions, we had more opportunities, more things we could do in assembly language because it was 10 bits wide. Basically, it just means we had a book with more pages listing the dictionary of what we could do.
You hear stories about how some engineers just couldn't quite get the Intellivision to do what they wanted. And the reason some of the games are slower is because that understanding of that architecture is very challenging. So games could run really fast on the Intellivision. You just had to do it a certain way. And most people tried to approach programming the Intellivision like they would the Atari 2600 or an old 8-bit computer. They thought that's the way you should do it. But in fact, the Intellivision has a very specific way you should be creating games for it.
So it was made with newer technology. And with that technology, they were capable of making more resolution of backgrounds, more colors, not necessarily better colors, but more sprites. I think they could put 8 sprites on the screen.
The Intellivision itself, because they started work on it about 2 years after Atari had started work on the VCS, it had more advanced chips. And so where the Atari was using a 6502 chip, which is a very basic and because of its simplicity, a powerful chip for its time, we were using a GI 1610 chip, which had 16-bit logic in it as opposed to 8-bit. Everybody says, oh, 8-bit, 16-bit. Well, Intellivision was kind of 3 different kinds of bits. We were very confusing.
The thing is, once we programmers started doing tricks and making the Atari 2600 do things that it was not supposed to do, we ended up with more sprites than the Intellivision. I did a game called Freeway, and Freeway had 10 moving sprites on the screen.
In many cases, a lot of engineers that were on the Atari went to Intellivision and vice versa. And then many engineers that went out to third parties like Activision and whatnot would end up working on multiple platforms. So they'd work on Intellivision and Atari.
I mean, I was at a CES one day showing Pitfall, and the Intellivision programming crew came around. I remember just kind of standing behind them, and they were saying, how do you make a swinging vine that would use all 8 of our sprites? There would be nothing left for Pitfall Harry. And so the swinging vine is a trick. It's a programming trick. And without it, Pitfall doesn't exist.
All the companies in the Bay Area particularly that were working on Atari and Intellivision games were told not to intermingle, not to hang out with people from the other companies because of company secrets being let loose, and nobody wants anybody to know what anybody else is working on.
But occasionally the programmers would run into each other in the mall, and one of them would say, I finally figured out how you did that thing, you know, or whatever. So there was a little bit of interconnection.
But then hearing that they would all get together for beers at people's houses and play the games they're working on with everybody. And so it was like completely opposite of what they were asked to do. But it was a way for them all to keep sane and also to help each other out. Because once everybody was able to share what they had, even though they weren't supposed to, it really helped everybody understand like how they could improve their games and all stuff with all these great designers in the area.
All right, I'm gonna adjust that back.
That was absolutely thrilling.
That was amazing. All right, do you have anything to say about that video, or?
I mean, I think we talked about the controller before the video started, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I guess I will just say they talk about the number of sprites. The Atari 2600, I think, had just 4 sprites maybe, because they initially created it to be able to make Pong. So there's 2 bats and a ball. I think they made it actually with 4 sprites, and each there could be 2 characters, each one shooting a bullet at the other one or something like that. But it was very, very basic. And then, as they said, they used all different tricks to get it to do stuff it wasn't really intended to do.
Yeah. All right, so we got another video. It seems like this DLC is mostly video so far.
Wait a second. There's another fucking video.
Well, there's 3 here for this category. The other 2 are commercials, which should be very entertaining to say the least.
Yeah.
But because we saw last time a couple of streams back when we did the Atari collection that some of the videos, some of the ads for Atari were very interesting, and by interesting I mean horribly acted. And very, very fake.
Interesting.
Yes, a low audio video is always very interesting. The revolution will be advertised in television, TV, commercials, and print ads featuring sports writer George Plimpton targeted the weakest points of the Atari VCS with a remarkable candor. The ads would set the tone of the first console war.
I'll try almost anything. So when Mattel Electronics asked me to compare their Intellivision games with Atari, I gave it a try.
Mattel started making these commercials with George Plimpton, comparing the 2 systems.
He was a writer who was brought in as the spokesperson for Intellivision. He would prop up a 2600 game against an Intellivision game and just basically ask you to tell the difference.
And I think the commercials played that up. You know, as you said, the commercials, implied you were high and mighty if you could afford a Intellivision and you weren't stuck down in the, dregs with your Atari machine.
As a generation of kids and adults were told every night on television By our Intellivision ads, it was a clearly superior video game console.
And so you'd see this like really amazing baseball game on the Intellivision that like in our eyes back then looked like real baseball, and then you see like some blocks over on the 2600 and weird sounds coming out, and baseball talks on the Intellivision, 2600 makes beeps and that sort of thing. So they would beg you to like compare it yourself and make the decision.
I compared Atari baseball with Intellivision and found Intellivision played much more like real baseball.
Where the Intellivision, which cost $100 more than the VCS, where it excelled was in the sports games and great graphics.
Our rival television commercials for Intellivision Atari ran each night, and inside the company we were tracking sales to see how we were doing, and it was very much competition. And of course we wanted to beat them.
Then they showed the two football games, and the Atari football I've always hated. It doesn't resemble football at all, where the Intellivision version resembles football.
Then I compared Atari football with Intellivision. Again, Intellivision played more like the real game.
The famous Atari game football was like 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, and that was a travesty to football fans. So the Intellivision felt, hey, we can at least, here's a baseball game, you got all the people on the field. Here's a football game, you have a bigger team.
Our emphasis on sports at Intellivision was just recognizing that those were the games that we were doing that people were most responding to. Most of our best sellers were our sports games. And that was the place where we were clearly beating Atari in the marketplace in terms of people's perceptions.
In my opinion, if you try them both, there's only one conclusion you can come to. Intellivision from Mattel Electronics.
The problem was they didn't have any arcade games, and Atari, being an arcade company, excelled in arcade games. And another problem with the Intellivision was it was a slower system than the VCS because it sacrificed memory for graphics rather than for speed. And so Atari retaliated with their own commercial showing this nerdy looking kid and saying, well, here's Atari's arcade games and here's Mattel's arcade games, and there are no Mattel arcade games.
As an intelligent consumer, I wanted to compare Atari Asteroids with other companies' asteroids. But other companies don't make asteroids.
Atari had coin-op games that had great brands that people already knew, and that they could bring those into their home operation. We didn't have that at Mattel. And so we ended up licensing with Data East. But even then we were doing more games that were derivative or copy type, just to try and keep pace with Atari.
I wanted to compare Atari Missile Command with other companies' missile commands, but other companies don't make that either.
Well, it probably didn't help that Intellivision came from a toy company. There's an aura there of softness, and Atari was, video gaming.
But ultimately, when you played the games, you could really tell the difference then, because the Intellivision and the way it presented graphics, the frame rate was pretty slow. It was pretty plodding, and the 2600 had this really fast frame rate. So games that were like shooters, racing games, all that stuff on the 2600 felt great, but they looked really nice on the Intellivision.
When it comes to the video games the world wants most, nobody compares to Atari.
So in a normal world, the Intellivision would have come along and blown the Atari out of the water because it seemed to have 4 times as much capability. That wasn't the reality. That was only the anticipation.
Despite all the TV commercials that Mattel ran every night for years saying how we were better, we never caught Atari in video game sales because of that price difference.
I mean, that's the same case in today's day and age.
Gamers.
Hello, how are you? A prime example of this is Sony released recently the PS5 Pro, and honestly, that system is like I think it's like $1,000, if not more. A couple of my friends ended up buying them, and as a matter of fact, last night I was following Victor Lucas, who is a video game journalist in Canada. He used to run a TV series called The Electric Playground, which I think even aired in the States. And he did a live stream last night, and he was testing out the PS5 Pro, and even he was like, well, I'll be honest with you. There's really no difference between the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. The difference is that it has a slightly better video card and slightly more room. But if you don't care about that, there's no point in getting the PS5 Pro because it's like $1,000 more. So just stick with your PS5. When your PS5 breaks, then you can get the Pro if you want. Because by then it'll probably be 10 times cheaper.
Yeah, totally. So, a couple things. First of all,
Trump was going to put more taxes to electronics and consoles too.
Lewis says, could it be true that, like, if Trump won, he's going to put more taxes into electronic? I don't know. I can't. As a Canadian, I can't speak for Trump.
Well, as an American, I also will not speak for Trump, but I don't think so. So, hi to Thumper Squid, and thank you for telling everyone to hit like. And we had 7 watching like a minute ago. Now it's only 4, but thanks to all the people who are coming in.
Oh, absolutely.
And I have the odd PS5 with disc player.
You have the
media forever.
Yeah, I have the OG.
Yeah, I have that too.
I have the OG PS5 with disc player. Now,
actually, I have this. I don't have the OG. I have the Slim, whatever the new one is.
The other thing to note with the PS5 Pro is it does not come with a disk drive. You have to buy that separately and plug it in. So anybody who is interested in the PS5 Pro, you need to know that it does not come with a physical disk drive. You have to buy that separately and plug it in, which is really stupid, and that just proves that today's video game industry is more fixed on the digital industry than the physical industry now more than ever. Because if they're doing that, that's a clear sign that game companies are only interested in digital.
Well, they're trying to do that, but it doesn't always work. There's already been a couple of cases where companies have backed down because gamers have really complained where there was no physical option. It happened on the Xbox. I think it happened on the PlayStation also. So, and there's 8 people here now. So thanks everybody for being here. And I want to comment a couple things on this video. One is that guy George Plimpton. I have no idea who the freak he is. They always talk about how Intellivision adds a George Plimpton in it. It says some writer. I never heard of him. Never read any of his books. I never heard of any of his books. I don't know about anybody else did, but apparently he was some whatever cool guy. Second thing is that the Atari ads obviously, they said he's the kid was nerdy. They weren't even kidding. I mean, who would even care what that dumb kid has to say? If I was watching that ad for Atari, he's like, "Oh, nobody else says asteroids." I'd be like, screw you. You're the kind of kid beat up in school. Do I really care about what you have to say? I mean, I don't have any I don't have any attraction to what that kid said. And then the last thing I was going to say was David Crane in all the videos looks like he's just thinking the whole time, when am I going to get my check? How much longer do I have to sit here, and when am I going to get my check? It's literally all it looks like he's saying the entire time. But those are my comments. And also, check out my channel if you're watching this, if you're on this channel, Stu's Game Reviews. So that's the only thing I have to say.
We normally like to promote your channel at the end of the stream, but yes, fair enough.
At the end of the stream, everyone's already gone.
Well, there you go. That's perfect. No, I'm just joking. That's no, I'm just joking. But yeah, no.
By the way, new sub here.
Thank you for subscribing, Thumper Squid. Great to have you here.
Sub to me also, Thumper Squid. Thumper Squid. Sorry. All right, back to. Can we actually play some games here? Gamers Grotto. This was Gamers Grotto. This channel, not Videos Grotto, right?
Well, that's not my fault, man. That's so far. This is all that this DLC has. Also, don't subscribe to Stu. He couldn't even pronounce your name properly.
Shut up.
Put a link in the chat.
Put a link in the chat? Yeah. All right, I'll put a link in the chat.
Yep, and I will also add a link to his channel in the description as well. I'll try almost anything. George Plimpton exuded the air of a New England socialite. Refined, intellectual, logical. His straightforward compare for yourself pitch in Mattel's TV ads helped position Intellivision as not only an educated choice, but an obvious one. All right, we'll watch this 30-second. No, you're good. We'll watch this.
Your bot's gonna do that.
It reads out everything. It's fine. No worries. Okay, so we're gonna check out this 30-second clip of George Plimpton. Even in the description for this video, it doesn't even say who he is.
Thanks.
Is there no,
I gave it a try. I compared Atari baseball with Intellivision and found Intellivision played much more like real baseball. Then I compared Atari football with Intellivision. Again, Intellivision played more like the real game. In my opinion, if you try them both, there's only one conclusion you can come to. Intellivision from Mattel Electronics.
Elementary, dear Watson. Jesus.
Let's have some cognac and smoke a cigar. Like, I mean, obviously this guy's not unbiased or whatever.
There's only one system that's the superior one, Intellivision. Now where's my fucking check?
Exactly.
Yeah. Nobody compares to Atari. Atari's response to Intellivision's swipes of superiority was to have...
system was Intellivision. Very nostalgic for me.
Okay, fair enough. That's awesome. It's crazy that you can still get these consoles. Like, I mean, I see them. There's a game store where in the city I live in that sells retro game consoles and stuff like that, and they sell Intellivision. They have them in the box and everything. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, who's buying that now? But I mean, I guess collectors. But I mean, I was blown away.
I bought Intellivision not that long ago, actually.
Fair enough.
So, just FYI. Yeah.
No, that's cool.
And I have two of them.
Do you have any games for them yet?
You insulted me. You insulted me just now. You stupid bastard. You insulted my Intellivisions. I'm gonna have to like come there and kick your butt now. Alright, never mind. I'm just kidding.
Do you have any games for them?
Yeah, I do. I have some games. Like I have that World Series baseball thing I was talking about before.
Okay.
I have a few things. I need to get some more. Actually, yeah. It's a good console. I like it.
Yeah. Well, but in your opinion,
A lot of the games on At Games Out with CoinOpsX.
in your opinion,
In my opinion, what?
Which, in your opinion, is the superior console for that timeline? Would it have been Intellivision, or would it have been the Atari 2600? In your opinion.
So, in theory, the Intellivision was a better console, but they had better games on the Atari. That's the thing. They had some good games on the Intellivision too, but like Activision, like put a lot of stuff on Atari that was not on Intellivision right away. Some of it did end up on Intel. Like Pitfall, for example, I'm pretty sure came out for Intellivision too. But like a lot of their stuff was only on Atari, and so Atari was just much more popular and a couple of year head start, so the games were better. It's actually similar to like the Nintendo and the Sega Master System. The Sega Master System, in my opinion, was a technically superior console, and had some really good games on it. But just Nintendo overall had better games, so that's how it works sometimes.
Yeah, so based on what I've seen so far from these videos, it seems like the Intellivision only focused on sports games, whereas the Atari kind of focused on sports games plus arcade games, plus adventure games, plus shooters. They kind of just covered everything, whereas the Intellivision, at least from these videos, didn't really cover that. It was mainly sports. That was their big selling point, was realistic sports games.
In the beginning it was, and part of that was because the Atari sports games were so bad. Like that was like the way they were able to compete. And if you heard, they said in the video, they sacrificed like speed for graphics. So sports games were always handled better than that. But they did have some decent non-sports games too, I will say. There's a game called Dracula, which is pretty cool. For example.
I can attest to the fact that Atari 2600 sports games were bad. We played quite a bit of bad ones already in these streams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were some really bad ones.
Yeah. Nobody compares to Atari. Atari's response to Intellivision's swipes of superiority was to have an intelligent consumer.
My neighbor had a ColecoVision that was awesome bad then.
Awesome back then?
Yeah, the ColecoVision blew both of them out of the water, but it didn't come out until like at least a year later, like 1980 maybe, or something like that. It wasn't out at this point.
Have an intelligent consumer point out the 2600 offered the arcade hits that the Intellivision lacked. Sorry, hold on. Intelligent consumer? It's a kid with glasses.
It looks like a wizard.
Wait a minute. I feel like George Plimpton is more intelligent than this consumer. It's just kind of weird to say. All right, let's watch this 33-second video.
As an intelligent consumer, I wanted to compare Atari asteroids with other companies' asteroids. But other companies don't make asteroids. I wanted to compare Atari Missile Command with other companies' missile commands. But other companies don't make that either. Finally, I wanted to compare the new Atari Warlords. Unfortunately, other companies don't make it. When it comes to the video games the world wants most, nobody compares to Atari.
I mean, honestly, that's like the stupidest argument. You know, it's like, I tried to compare, like, Halo to other companies' Halos. Other companies don't make Halo. You know, it's like, who cares? What does that have to do with anything? I tried to compare God of War to other companies' God of War. Other companies don't make God of War. I mean,
it makes no sense.
The only point of it that makes sense is that, you know, it's true, Asteroids and Missile Command were both very, very popular games. So I get that. But it wasn't like Intellivision did have 8 games, so I just think it's and also the Asteroids and Missile Command and Atari 50th are good, they're okay, but they're not as good as the arcade either. So I don't know. I just think it's a little bit lame.
Yeah.
Personally.
I also have a quick question. Is this intelligent consumer just like one of the employees' sons? That's what it feels
I'm not
like.
kidding. I think the intelligent consumer got a beating right after the ad was done.
There you go.
Probably by some kid in school.
Yeah. 2 pictures. Once you compare the 2 systems for challenge, sophistication, and continued interest, says sports journalist and Mattel spokesman George Plimpton, I'm confident you'll choose Intellivision. And there he is again.
$100 more than the other.
Atari versus Intellivision, nothing I could say would be more persuasive than what your own 2 eyes would tell you, but I can't resist telling you more. What? Okay. Well, you know. See the difference. This 1982 ad draws on sports fan survey data and independent praise to further one of the campaign's core messages. Our sophistication makes the games more challenging.
Tonight. I just got the DLC for Atari 50. Really enjoying it.
Nice. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, yeah, I just picked it up about an hour earlier as well. It's
gonna buy the physical edition.
It's good, but the problem with it is that it feels like it's just. And again, a lot of game companies are the reason for this. They just cut content from their games and then be like, okay, that's going to be paid DLC. That's going to be paid DLC. It happens all the time. A lot of gamers think that, oh, well, the DLC, which comes out a month later, is stuff that they were working on while the game was originally released. No, that's not the case. 90% of the time, this stuff is already content within the game, and they just cut out swaths of it like you're cutting out a piece of cake. And they're just going like, okay, that's going to be DLC, that's going to be in the game, that's going to be DLC. And that's what it feels like with this. It feels like this was originally a part of this collection, and they just cut it out as DLC. That's just
so in this case, it's not the case. The other previous DLCs, that may have been true. In this case, it's not the case, because this came out a couple of years ago, and they only bought Intellivision this year, so they wouldn't have been able to include this stuff before that.
No. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm saying that when the Atari collection came out, the Atari 50th anniversary game, this thing that we're on, that's what I'm saying. They cut out this content then, because this.
No. I'm saying
this collection. But this collection came out like last year.
It came out in 2022. I just checked. But the purchase of Intellivision happened in 2024. So the other DLCs, you're probably right. They probably cut it out. But this Intellivision stuff would not have ever been in there. They must have just done it this year.
Okay, I gotcha. I didn't know that it was 2024 that happened. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's just happened this year. Yep.
Oh, Good to know. IntelliVoice. Mattel's IntelliVoice speech peripheral debuted in 1982 at $100, but failed to catch on with gamers. This adds mention of Night Stalker with its relentless one-eyed robot was likely added to reference the famous voice-enabled arcade game Berserk. However, only 5 games supported IntelliVoice, and Night Stalker was not one of them.
Like the famous one is B-17 Bomber.
Atari has been buying up retro games and giving new life to it. The recharged stuff is exciting to me. I don't mind paying a bit.
Yeah, no,
I agree with you, Supper Squid.
Absolutely.
You go ahead first. I'll say my afterwards. Go ahead.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm planning on getting the at some point the haunted mansion, I think it was called. No, the you know the one I'm talking about, the Atari game, the haunted house. They did a PS5 remake of it with like all these next gen visuals, but it still retains the style of the original Atari game, and it's made by Atari. And I was thinking of grabbing it and maybe having you on, and we can stream that at some point. And I think that would be a lot of fun because it's kind of cool because we did play the original Atari haunted house in this collection, so it'd be kind of cool to experience the next gen version of the exact same game.
Yeah, sure. What I was going to say was Atari, like, I feel like, you know, for a very long time they were like just a shadow of their former self. And the new CEO, Wade Rosen, I think is his name, I feel like he's really been trying to like make it relevant again. And part of that is through acquisitions. Like they bought Intellivision. They also bought the guys who made this compilation. What's it called again? Digital Eclipse. They bought those guys too. So now they own Digital Eclipse. And they've been really trying to put out new, like reissue old games and also put out new games that leverage their IP and make it relevant again. Also, they've also been putting out new hardware. Like you could buy like replacement joysticks or replacement like paddles from them, and you could buy a new Atari 2600, a new Atari 7800. I forget what they call it. They also have like the VCS, whatever it's called. But like they're really trying hard to make it relevant, and I think they're succeeding to some extent too. So kudos to the new leadership at Atari.
I agree 100%. The other thing we should do is we should call this toll-free number to find our nearest dealer. 1-800-323-1715. No, I'm just joking. Could you imagine?
Is it like a drug dealer they're talking about?
My bot is hiccuping there. I apologize, everybody. Occasionally my bot likes to just get drunk and repeat everybody's messages all at once. So that's always fun.
Really enjoying it. Atari has been buying up retro games and giving new life to it. The recharged stuff is exciting to me.
I'm telling you, I love this bot! This bot's amazing! Alright, continuing.
Alright, let's finish it.
Yeah. Okay, M Network. Oh my god, 7 minutes, almost 8 minutes. M Network. It may seem unfathomable to modern gamers, but in 1982, the manufacturer of Intellivision... Serenity Now. There you go. Serenity Now! Alright, but in 1982, the manufacturer of Intellivision designed and sold games for its biggest rival, Atari 2600. Was the M Network initiative a cunning business decision or a simple sign of surrender?
That's what I was talking about before.
M Network, I'll be the judge of that. Okay. I'll be the judge of that. Mattel's challenge to let players decide for themselves as to whose games were superior extended to M Network, as this promotional button illustrates. It's like the kind of campaign buttons you see on presidents.
Yeah, it's
want to be president. It is strange. All right, we're gonna watch this video and check it out.
Mattel Electronics had no interest in making cartridges for the Atari 2600. What happened was this Glenn Hightower, who made the original cartridges for the Intellivision, he realized he got a bad deal out of it. Whatever games they sold to Mattel, they would get $30,000. Meanwhile, Mattel would turn around and sell like 50,000 copies of the games for a huge amount of money. And so he decided, well, why I should get in on this side. So he had his people reverse engineer the Atari 2600. They started making Atari versions of the Intellivision games.
So I remember when we were in the meeting where we were being told we were going to do this as a company, and we weren't asked, we were told.
It is hard to join a business that there's already 600 products.
Right.
And you're going to try to duplicate
and make a
one
mark.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty hard.
Most of the executives there didn't want to do it. They said, why should we sell games for a competing system? Also, they're worried that people will look down on them, like, they're jumping on the bandwagon for another company. And then Hightower convinced them there's 10 million Atari VCSs out there. There's 2 million Intellivisions out there. So instead of selling games just for 2 million consoles, you could sell games for potentially 12 million consoles. And Mattel liked that idea, and that's why they went with it.
Once video games really started to take off and become this big boom, we had all of these copycat companies trying to come in from the outside, apart from Atari, Mattel, Activision. And everybody was trying to start a video game company. So you had Games by Apollo, which some investors started up. You had the Quaker Oats video game division. And I say that and people think, oh, Don's joking. No, there really was a Quaker Oats video game division. When you have all that kind of stuff going on and people trying to build games for Intellivision and for Atari, at a certain point I think both companies decided, I don't know who went first or who influenced, well, we should probably be making games for each other because it's now at the point. We make games.
Mattel wants to make Atari games. Everybody has an Atari. We want to sell games. That was what they told us. Atari's everywhere, so let's make games that people will buy because of that.
As the teams evolved and kind of subdivided, one of the factors was those who had experience on 6502, which was quite a few of our programmers at that point. They tended to migrate more towards the VCS, and those who did not certainly were staying on Intellivision.
And I was hired just to do the VCS, nothing else, because I had learned machine language, in college. And the VCS runs on machine language.
Some folks just loved the Intellivision and didn't want to go anywhere. For other people, it was kind of like, oh, we get to go head to head with Atari? That would be fun.
There was that added art part, too, of let's be a step above. There was definitely that concept of we're going to be above Astro Smash or whatever those other things are. We're going to be special, high society Atari.
We as a whole, as a group, both M Network and Intellivision, felt like we had really good artists. So when I think about that, what Jane is saying rings true. We were good at combining artists and programmers in a way that brought the best out in both the programmers and the artists.
I was the only woman programmer in the whole group of M Network. I was kind of unaware of how unusual it was. So we were just like a bunch of people, and we all cared about video games and the problems of the VCS and conquering it, and we would share, oh crap, my cycles went too long. I mean, it was a team thing.
Somebody told me, you know that company M Network at CES? That's Mattel. And I said, I don't think so. It doesn't make any sense. And then I found out it was. And I said, oh, okay, so they're giving up.
I just clicked this magazine. It was Electronic Games. But they had this rumor page, and they talked about how Mattel was going to start making games for the Atari 2600. I couldn't get to my friend's house fast enough to be like...
I'm just going to share your screen there, Stu, because I just noticed it ended. The downside to you being on your PS4. Limitations of the hardware, I'm assuming. Alright, so once you are able to see the screen, I'll unpause the video.
Victory. Like, there's no way Atari would make games for the Mattel Intellivision, which they would later.
Atari did the same thing. They made games for the Intellivision under the Atari Soft label and other systems too. So there was definitely a lot of back and forth with all these companies once they started cross-selling games across platforms.
But at the time, they were the first to concede, and so I was very excited, not because I wanted the games, which I kind of did, but because I could actually claim victory over my friends that Mattel has to make Atari games to succeed in the game business.
It was just another revenue stream. It was another revenue stream. And it was a good thing for gamers because you could play the games on whichever system you chose.
A lot of their library is based on Intellivision games, and the Intellivision was a pretty capable console. Visually it looked different from the 2600, but a lot of the games had a lot of depth to them.
The cartridge shape was basically the Intellivision cartridge, but then they had this 2600 weird adapter they plugged into it at the bottom, and so they didn't bother. They could have, if you think about it, the tooling for the adapter was probably more than enough to make an actual cartridge case. But the defiance to be like, no, we're going to make a real Intellivision cartridge and make it look and be evocative of Intellivision, even though they're using it on a 2600, I thought was a really interesting approach for them.
When I heard they were coming out with Atari games, I was in the camp that, they know that that's the market leader. We might as well jump on the bandwagon. And there were so many. There must have been at least 2-3 dozen companies at that time producing games for the 2600. So what's another one?
The sports games were fantastic from M Network, and I remember really liking Star Strike on the Intellivision because it felt like the sequence from Star Wars were going to the trench, and that was coming to the 2600. So secretly I was super excited that I was going to start getting these Intellivision games on the Atari 2600.
The hyped Mattel games like Astro Smash, which became Astro Blast, I like that game. And I think it was better to play on the Atari with the joystick than it was to play on the Intellivision with the disc.
One game I played a lot of, probably more than any others, and it's a weird outlet.
Hello Grotto and Stu. How are you guys? My neighbor had a ColecoVision that was awesome back then. Nice to make some new internet friends tonight. I just got the DLC for Atari 50. Really enjoying it. Atari has been buying up retro games and giving new life to it. The recharged stuff is exciting to me. I don't mind paying a bit. Serenity now.
Their football and baseball
LOL bot is back.
Pretty impressive games. They look really close to their Intellivision counterparts, but also had their own unique look, and they had no compromises. So for a company to kind of come in and just try to cash in on the Atari craze, that isn't what it felt like. It actually felt like they were coming in here to make a difference and make really good, solid Atari 2600 games.
So I like to think that we raised the bar. And then maybe others came along and did way better, who knows? But we cracked it. We said, hey, you don't have to do the old hat stuff. You can play with it like it's an instrument. You can pluck the strings different ways.
Your bot is going too crazy here.
My bot needs to take a chill pill. Yes, I agree. All right, let's adjust the audio again. All right, yeah, no, my bot is really annoying. I unfortunately have no control over that. That's controlled by Sony. Unscramble and win. This deluxe fold-out advertisement not only offered its readers a puzzle to pique their curiosity, but included a chance to win an entire library of M Network games. DDA. Okay. Jesus.
Wait, hold on. I want to see that.
You want to solve it? There you go. It's probably something stupid like buy our games. Damn it.
What's this? It's like add new life to Atari VCS with M Network home video games. That's what it says.
Put the cookie down.
Put that cookie down. Put that cookie down! Wow. Alright, anyway, a surprising effort. This advertisement makes it clear M Network intended to raise the visual bar on the 2600. Our graphics don't move, they perform.
It's Faga Beefy. What the heck does that mean?
I don't know what he's... I don't know.
Maybe he's unscrambling. It's really a scrambled word. I don't know.
Our graphics don't move, they perform. And our challenging gameplay makes every performance spectacular. Because M Network video games will now put new life in your Atari VCS. There's a library of M Network video games to choose from, and many more games to come. So if you want to get more out of your Atari VCS, put our games into it.
From Midnight Madness 80s movie.
Oh my God, Midnight Madness! I love that movie. Holy cow! I mean, that's the movie with like all the different cars driving around with Michael J. Fox, I think, is in it. I haven't seen that in such a long time.
I've never even heard of the movie, so interesting.
It's like some kind of crazy race where there's like the red team and the green team and the white team. They're all different cars. They're like doing some crazy scavenger hunt race. I forget like the premise of how it got set up. I'm pretty sure Michael J. Fox is in it. Anyway, cool movie.
Sales to astonish
I saw it as a kid.
With its simple colors, bold fonts, and word balloon. This M Network advertisement was designed to appear in early 1980s comic books.
So that's a pun. That's a pun on Tales to Astonish, which is the comic that who's in Tales to Astonish? I think it was the Hulk in that one. I forget. It was a Marvel comic, Tales to Astonish. Oh, the Ant-Man started up in Tales to Astonish. That was a comic he was introduced in. Okay. Tales to Astonish, number 27, maybe. I'm not sure.
Amazing new life forms are taking over Atari. These video games are so exciting. Okay. A familiar cartridge. While the M Network cartridge casing was based on the same ones used for Intellivision software, none of the M Network games share the title with their Intellivision inspiration. Kind of reminds me of the later Nintendo cartridges, almost similar style.
Yeah, they're very small, those cartridges though. Like they're sort of smaller than the regular Atari card. They're like one of the smallest cartridges you'll see anywhere.
Oh my God, we have games coming up.
Spiky.
Sorry.
What? There are games in this thing?
Oh my God! Right, I know. What the hell? M Network games, M Network cartridges started appearing in stores in late summer 1982. Facing a crowded market, developers attempted to set a high standard for 2600 software with a lineup of visually striking titles and diverse gameplay. Astroblast. Asteroids and the Space Invaders were both massive hits, and Intellivision's Astro Smash combined elements of both. The M Network adaptation, Astroblast, benefited from the Atari's more responsive joystick controller and could also be played with paddles. Well, let's give it a go. Astroblast platform Atari 2600, release year 1982. A fast-paced space shooter, Astroblast was an unusual 2600 game since it could be played with either the joystick or paddle controllers. For rapid fire, hold down the button, then just focus on hitting targets and avoiding the space rocks as they split into smaller, deadly projectiles.
So, this game...
What? This is going very fast.
So this game is called Astro Blast, it said, and then it's on the Atari, it's called Astro Smash, same game. I found this game to be impossible because okay, hold on a second. Every time an asteroid lands on the ground, you lose points. So you can let things hit the ground for the most part, but you just lose points every time. And then there's a certain asteroid that if it hits the ground, you die. If it's like this, usually makes some kind of weird effect that keeps your. I can't describe it, but you'll see it. There's a type of asteroid that kills you and it's the ground. Most of them just take away points. So when I play this game, I just end up having 0 points constantly, basically.
It doesn't help that your turret or whatever the hell it is. Look how fast this is. Why? It's very hard to control.
Yeah, it's incredibly hard to control.
I kind of feel bad for anybody who bought this back in the day, because it's what am I doing?
That white one that was turning was the one that if it's the ground you die. You shot it though. I don't know if you even saw it, but yeah, I find this game incredibly hard. A lot of people think it's a great game, by the way.
Okay.
So you're 0 points again. No, seriously, you can't get any points in this game. It's impossible.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like it's very well optimized, to be honest. Well, there we go. That's Astro Blast. I'm not going to play too much of these things because that's what causes our stream to go pretty long, is when we end up playing the games for any considerable length. Star Strike, one of the few games to share its name with its Intellivision inspiration. Star Strike's gameplay, in which players try to bomb targets while piloting a speeding starfighter down a narrow trench, recalls the ending scene of Star Wars. If players fail, they'll see the alien super weapon launched at nearby planet Earth. Star Strike, platform Atari 2600, release year 1982. Pilot your starship down the trench of an alien space station. Knock out enemy silos in this fast-paced blaster. Unlike other games, you only have one life, so to avoid crashing, keep an eye on your spaceship's shadow. Okay.
So, this game came out for television also.
How am I supposed to be shooting?
This is the Atari. This is like, I don't know, it's like Star Wars.
This is very confusing.
That looks like a smiley face.
There we go. Yeah.
It's like there's so many games that ripped off Star Wars at this time.
Well, I mean, it's understandable. I mean, Star Wars was highly successful around that time period, and I mean, still is to this day. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
So it's understandable that they would try to market all the games towards feeling like you were in that movie or whatever. I literally don't know what I'm doing. I'm blowing things up. That's all I know.
Yeah, I don't know how you win this game.
I don't know. Maybe Yoda comes out. Jesus, what is going on with my ship?
I have you now.
Yoda comes on at the very ending and goes, "Oh, congratulations! You're
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Suck you do.
Suck you do. Buy 2600 you must.
Right. This is a 2600 game.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
Actually, this came out for the Intellivision first. I don't know why they were doing it like they're showing the 2600 version instead of just the, doesn't make sense to me. They show the Intellivision first, and they should show, okay, now here's the version of the 2600. That made much more sense to me.
Damn it, Darth Vader won. Earth is blown up. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. Vaporized. Alright, well, that was intriguing. Alright, Armor Ambush. Armor Ambush, based on an Armor Battle from the Intellivision, looks and plays like a faster version of our Atari's own Combat, which was itself based on Atari's arcade game Tank. Designed for 2 players, Armor Ambush features more varied terrain than Combat, and the ability to swap between 2 tanks during play.
Oh, 2 tanks.
Oh, I should have done this earlier. We always look at the box art and try to discover if there's any hidden messages.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time? It's like a whole bunch of names on the box.
Some guy wrote something on his box. Yeah, like he wrote his name or something. I mean, I don't know what. Yeah, it's. Do you think they would like find a copy of the box and have some guy's name written on it? But I guess they couldn't do that for whatever reason.
All right, Whoops, play. Armor Ambush, platform Atari 2600, release year 1982. 2 players face off in military combat with 2 tanks per player on the battlefield. Switching between them is part of Armor Ambush's strategic challenge. Note that tanks move faster on roads, but slower through groves and trees and bodies of water. What the hell? Oh, okay. Well, this is not going to even work properly because it's supposed to be 2 players. Hold on. How does... Did they actually make this 2 players for this mode?
They did a great job with the 2 players last time, I remember.
Right?
Seriously.
Okay, I don't see any option here for 2 players. So am I just destroying this other tank that's not moving? That seems pretty challenging, let me tell you. That's
Wait a second. This can't be. Oh wait, you just switched it. What just happened?
I don't know what's going on.
You have 2 different tanks, and you're able to switch from one to the other. You see, like right now, you're controlling the black one on there, but you also have a black one on the bottom left that you switched to for a second.
I saw that. I don't know what button I pressed for that, though. I don't think I even pressed anything.
You have terrible aim.
This is absolutely pointless to include in this collection if you can't play a 2-player.
Wait, because come on, there must be a way. Are you serious?
I'm not seeing anything. Like, even in the controls, it doesn't say...
Yeah, what the hell? Isn't it the same thing last time, too, right? And the computer, you can't play against the computer doesn't freaking move?
No. There's absolutely no
point. How is that possible?
There's absolutely no point to this game, because you're going to win it every time! Because you're going against nothing.
I am, like, totally confused.
Yeah, there is literally no options. We can try resetting, maybe. See, this black bar, when I hit start, this black bar at the top pops up and everything. And you would think that there would be some options in that, but it's completely blank.
Yeah, it's just for 2 players. I guess there's no 1-player option on this game. You have to play 2 players. And if that's the case, then that's like the stupidest thing ever. Because again, you probably could play 2 players if you have like local co-op or something. You probably have to have somebody else in your room with you on your PS5. Yeah, that's pretty stupid. I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not even. I'm looking here, and there's not even. It must be couch co-op.
And then it says black and blue. I feel like the people that made this compilation should be black and blue for like not doing this probably. Seriously.
I think it's couch co-op, and that's why it's not working. Oh well. Next game, Dark Cavern, a 2600 version of Intellivision's Night Stalker. Dark Cavern traps players in a single-screen maze with only limited ammunition to destroy the robot enemies.
I have a question for you here. Why are they... And I asked this before, but why are they giving the Atari versions before the original Intellivision version? Are you sure you didn't skip the Intellivision versions or something?
I don't know.
Earlier on?
Like I said, I'm new to this DLC just like you, so I have no idea what's going on.
Because in most cases, the Atari version is the shittier version. So, like, why do we want to see the shittier version? Like, show us the Intellivision version. I don't get this at all. But all right.
Yeah, a 2600 version of Intellivision's Night Stalker. Dark Cavern traps players in a single-screen maze with only limited ammunition to destroy the robot enemies. crafty players discovered that lingering in the spawn area would keep them safe, an unofficial pause mode for when a gamer needed a brief break.
Aren't you a Night Stalker, by the way?
Shut up. What are they talking? What is the spawn area? Where's the spawn?
This is for one player. That's where like they come. I think in the middle where the bad guys come out.
Dark Cavern platform Atari 2600 release year 1982. It's zap or be zapped in this maze game filled with spiders, deadly robots, and ammunition-stealing blobs. There's no way out of this maze, as your only goal is to blast as many enemies as you can before your 5 lives run out. Okay, so that's the spawn location right there. So we just stay in here and then we don't have to do anything? Is that what they're saying?
I don't remember this game.
Well, you have to remember this game. Night Stalker is like one of the most famous games on the Intellivision. If you haven't played this, this is the shitty version. Like, you must have played this on the Intellivision. It's pretty famous. But the running guy looks much better on the Intellivision. That guy just like see, there's a sport area where you come out there, so you can just stay there if you want if you get killed. I don't think you can go back in.
I have no more ammo.
That monster just molested you before.
I have no more ammo.
You were just... Oh, you don't?
No.
I guess you're dead then.
Oh, no.
There's a gun there. Go get it. That monster's like sexually assaulting you.
It's basically Pac-Man. Do you guys notice? It's just Pac-Man. This is just Pac-Man.
Oh, yeah, that monster's like having his way with you. You don't die right away. First he's to have his way with you. Oh my gosh. You lost the gun. It went away. It took too long. They canceled the Second Amendment while you were waiting. They came and took all our guns away. That's it. You're done.
Okay.
Yeah, you suck.
Well, I don't know if I suck. I think it's the other way around. I think the game is pretty sucky.
Okay. Gen Z grown up was playing this.
Yeah, Night Stalker is the normal name of the game.
Frogs and Flies. Some Ed Network games.
No, frogs, not flogs. Not flogs, frogs.
I said frogs. I didn't say flogs.
No, you said flogs. It's a sound like.
No, I said frogs. Frogs and Flies.
Maybe I heard you wrong.
Some M Network games earned cult followings for being simply unlike other 2600 offerings. Frogs and Flies delivers exactly what the title promises. An insect-eating competition between 2 players leaping between lily pads like its Intellivision inspiration, Frog Bog. The sky darkens as the day progresses to a game-ending night.
This is a really cool game. It's like not too much excitement, but it's a fun game. It looks good and it plays well. Well, the television version is still better.
Frogs and Flies, platform Atari 2600, release year 1982. A pair of frogs leap between lily pads in a contest to catch the most flies. This surprisingly addictive 2-player contest ends when the sky turns dark and the day in the swamp ends. When set to the harder difficulty setting, you'll have finer control over the angle of your frog's jumps.
Well, I'm worried about the fact that this is 2 players, and another one you can't play. It's horrible. You're supposed to jump and then eat the food, yeah, like that. Oh, the computer's moving. Alright, so it's actually not to go without you. Alright, good.
This one, so but the tank one, it wasn't doing a damn thing.
Yeah, this one actually is, though. Although for some reason he's not able to eat anything.
I was hitting the wrong button.
What's going on now?
There we go.
There you go, you got one. Surprised the computer sucks so bad. He got one too.
This is not bad. This is not a bad game.
No, it's challenging. A good game. You just gotta actually learn to play.
Yeah. Well, no, I get the general concept. We have to catch more flies.
Oh, you just missed one.
We have to catch more flies than the other.
A huge embarrassment. Yeah. You gotta eat flies until it gets dark and then the game's over.
It's creative.
Oh, you got 2 in a row there. You redeemed yourself almost. Computer's still winning.
God damn it!
There you go. Just keep on sticking that tongue out. Use that tongue, baby. Here you go. You got 2 in a row again. All right, man.
Gene Simmons.
There you go.
Frog Simulator.
Exactly, Gene Simmons Simulator. Finally got the hang of it, I think. There you go. All right, now you got a comfortable lead. It is a short game too. It's only 2 minutes long and it ends. But once it gets dark, the game is over.
Stupid flies. There we go. 16.
You're doing your job in cleaning up civilization with flies. All right, 18. Can you get one more before the game ends?
I can certainly attempt. Whether that happens or not is another story.
Come on, you got that. Oh man, it came back the other way. Don't just jump randomly, you gotta time it. There you
20.
go. Those flies are one out of here. They look more like butterflies than flies. Those are freaking huge flies, I think, flies. These are small that you're able to see it. Almost 30.
Yeah. And the computer's at 10 still.
The computer really sucks. Maybe there's multiple difficulty levels or something.
There is. Yeah, there is. They said that in the description.
Oh, it's nighttime now. Dogs are going to sleep soon. This is the first Atari game I've ever seen you be good at, by the way.
Shut up!
Literally.
That is not true. No.
That is totally true.
No, it's not. There's been many games in the collection that I've actually been good at. You even said that.
If you say so.
Alright.
There you go, game's over. You win.
The end.
The end. It's it's not a very long game, but it's probably much more fun with 2 players. But it's cool.
Definitely looks like it would be a fun game for little kids. I enjoyed it. That was actually a really fun little Atari game. I enjoyed that one. That was cool.
You enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that. Right. Air Raiders. Flight simulators weren't common in 1982, so the original title Air Raiders was an unusual sight on the 2600. Players must successfully take off from the runway to engage in dogfights, but can land to refuel and restock ammo after 10 enemies have been downed.
In my opinion, this is a very cool game for Atari because you wouldn't imagine Atari could ever be like this. It looks like Afterburner almost. I mean, it's not that good of graphics, obviously, but it's the same idea.
Yeah. Air Raiders platform Atari 2600, released year 1982. A rare hybrid of target shooter and flight simulator for the Atari 2600. Air Raiders challenges players to take off and periodically land their plane between dogfights. In fact, you can only land and refuel once you've downed 10 enemies. What
just happened?
Did I die? I don't know. I didn't even press anything. Let's try that again.
You smashed through an invisible wall. You have to take off, I think. Pull a stick back. There you go. Whoa! What happened?
I keep on dying. Strange.
The first time you smashed through a brick wall. What's going on?
Sakes.
Read the instruction manual, baby.
I'll try this one more time.
You have to take off, otherwise you're not going to be able to do anything.
Okay.
You almost took off one time. Well, you check that out. I'm going to go get some food. I'll be right back.
you try to take off before gaining enough speed, you will crash. But hold on, that doesn't make any sense because I crashed when I was like gaining tons of speed. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, there we go. This is kind of confusing. Where are those? Oh. Fair enough. I think we're gonna give that one a little bit of a break there. That I don't know. The problem with that game is that the when you're in the sky, the environment is very confusing, and so it's hard to determine if you're turning or not. So when I'm flying left and right, it doesn't feel like I'm flying left and right. I don't know. It doesn't seem to really work. Super Challenge Football. Sports games were key to Intellivision's sales campaign. So seeing a 2600 adaptation of NFL football without the pro license was a welcome sight to Gridiron fans. Aside from a lack of kicking plays, the game delivers a robust simulation for 2 players. Oh, there's 3 different iterations. Okay. Well, I guess we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. International soccer. While other M Network sports games aspire to realism, many rules being omitted from international soccer in pursuit of fast-paced fun. 2 players are required, but the computer will move 3 teammates on both offense or defense, while the humans focus on controlling just one. So this game might actually not work if we're doing 2-player. It says for 2 players. I don't understand why they are incorporating these into the collection, but they don't give you the option of adding 2 players. It doesn't make any sense. International Soccer platform Atari 2600, release year 1982. A smoothly scrolling playfield is the hallmark of International Soccer, which delivers a fast-paced arcade-style interpretation of the sport. To keep play brisk, the borders of the field will bounce the ball back into the play. While there is no single-player mode, the computer will take limited control over 3 of the 4 players on the team.
What is this? Soccer?
Soccer, but it's 2 players.
Oh, wonderful! That's helpful.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. It's the best. Hang on.
Did I miss any other games?
No, we did the flying one, and I managed to finally get off the ground.
Did you manage to take off?
Shot a couple of planes, and then was taken down by a plane.
Nice.
I don't. Okay, this is not going to work only because the other team is not moving. The blue. So I'm the yellow team, but the blue team is just kind of sitting there. They're not really doing much. And the odd time they will move, but most of the time it's like.
Maybe they didn't get paid this week or something. Maybe they're just like they're on strike or something like that.
They're on strike.
Maybe.
Strike football.
Striking soccer player simulator.
Yeah. Striking.
Yeah. Maybe. I'm just guessing.
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Here's the game box.
What a great game. Definitely the best game I've ever seen on Atari is soccer.
Yeah,
We all play soccer.
Totally. It was amazing. Super Challenge Baseball. David Rolfe programmed both Intellivision's Major League Baseball and its M Network adaptation, albeit without the license. Like Super Challenge Football, it's designed for two-player human players only, but is sophisticated enough to offer different pitches, triple plays, and extra innings.
And this is interesting because, like, let's see if it looks as good as the baseball. It looks pretty much the same.
Looks like VHS box.
Very interesting.
Looks like a VHS box, says Lewis. Very similar.
I mean, not really. They were. I mean, sort of, but like the VHS boxes for the most part like didn't have a bottom, and they were narrower and fatter.
Super Challenge Baseball, platform Atari 2600, release year 1982. The shortstop might be missed from this game of America's pastime, but it's still one of the most advanced baseball simulations on the 2600. With a little practice, players can choose their pitch, switch between fielders, and control base runners.
That reminds me, John Madden football. Like, I think that was like maybe the first football game to actually have like 11 players on the field. And that's what Madden insisted on. Like, he wouldn't like make the game, wouldn't put his name on the game if it didn't have 11 players on the field. In this game, there's only like 8 baseball players in the field, and I guess they're okay with that.
What are the controls? This doesn't make any sense. Up, down, left, right, action. Well, I'm hitting action and nothing's happening. This is exciting.
I mean, so James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, like showed this game also in his Atari sports video, and he's like, "Why is the pitcher balancing the ball on his head, and why does the batter look like a G?"
A G.
I mean, it does.
No, he's right. It absolutely does. And I can't play this. Yup, not a single button is working. So that was fun. Thank you, Atari, for at least attempting to make sure the game works before putting it on this collection. He's thinking.
So people in the chat, do you think that the game doesn't work, or do you think it's the gamer's Grotto's fault that you can't play it? I'm just curious.
No, I'm serious. I am pressing every single button on the controller, and I already went to the controls. It's up, down, left, right, and the X button for action. None of those buttons are working.
What probably it is, it's probably like waiting for this other player or something. I don't know. It's really weird. It should work.
It's a 2-player game.
That's super weird.
Mm-hmm. Sports Challenge Football. Sports games were key to Intellivision's sales campaign, so seeing a 2600 adaptation of NFL football without the pro license, blow the controller? This is a
family-friendly channel, Lewis.
Yeah, this is yeah. Well, I don't know about that. We got Stu here, so I don't know how family-friendly this is. Was a welcome sight to Gridiron fans, aside from a lack of kicking plays. The game delivers a robust simulation for 2 players. So all 3 of these are 2-player games. So what was the point in adding them to the single-player experience? Makes absolutely no sense. Super Challenge Football, platform Atari 2600, release year 1982. 2 players hit the gridiron in this 5-on-5 side-scrolling interpretation of American football.
It's called a gridiron, I think. Gridiron.
See, that's how much I don't know sports.
Yeah, it's okay.
While it offers detailed play calling for aficionados of the sport, players will also find they can employ some extremely unrealistic strategies. Running in the opposite direction will cause a defender to reappear on the other side of the field and let them catch the ball carrier. There we go. Football. All right. Who am I in this? Because I am not moving.
Another great game by Atari.
This is fantastic. Up, down, it's the same buttons as the previous games. So we have determined that none of these are working.
Is there a start button or something? Like, I don't understand. Just press start. You press the start button, it's like that. What is that? What is that thing? There you go. Now you know I didn't work before. You press the start button.
No. This is what happened last time.
Oh, but you're controlling it.
I'm not controlling it. That's the thing. That's not me controlling that.
Oh, you didn't move up and down?
I'm literally hitting every.
That wasn't you.
That was not.
Wait,
me.
hold on. You were.
No,
oh,
I'm the blue. I'm the blue team.
Well, that's so stupid because the computer's supposed to hike the offense is supposed to hike the ball. It's ridiculous. Unacceptable. Really unacceptable. Why is my YouTube showing the baseball? I think YouTube is very behind.
Yeah, you want to hit the live button at the bottom of the YouTube.
It's okay now. I must have been super behind for some reason.
Well, that was fun. Hopefully they'll release a patch to fix that, because that was kind of pointless. The Lost Library. M Network published 17 cartridges with another 19 in various stages of development before Mattel's electronics closure. Fans and historians have done their best to preserve screens, playable code, and memories of these unreleased games. Ant Bear. Never officially released, Ant Bear makes its debut here for the first time.
Oh wow, that's super cool.
Ant Bear, a platform Atari 2600 unreleased prototype. Wouldn't that be an anteater? Why are they calling it an ant bear?
Just like, yeah, I'm saying it's an anteater.
Ant Bear tasks players with carefully navigating an anthill with their very long tongue, grabbing insects for points. Hold the fire button to quickly retract your tongue and avoid enemies.
Originally it was supposed to be called Gene Simmons Simulator 2 until they lost the KISS license. This is literally the game Anteater, isn't it? It's also called like Oil's Well. It's Anteater like in the arcade, I believe.
How did I die?
Oh, you just freaking died. You ate something you weren't supposed to eat.
Hold on.
What instructions? Extend tongue, left, up, down, right, retract tongue. Those are great controls.
Fantastic. I can already tell why it wasn't released. So I'm not supposed to get the worms, I take it. What?
Not.
No, okay, come on. That is not how an anteater's tongue works.
This game, like, it's called like Anteater in the arcade, I think. Or Sierra made a version called Oil's Well, which is very similar.
You know what this reminds me of? This just reminds me of that game with the snakes. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
What?
Where you have to like control the snakes and make sure they don't bump into like the environment.
Oh yeah, but this is different. This is like, I think you can kill most of these things with the tip of your tongue, but if any monster touches the side of your tongue, then you die. So those guys touch the. You're about to die right now. You just got killed because something touched the side of your tongue. That only touched the tip of your tongue.
That anteater looks like he's half dead anyway. He's like, okay, gotta go get some more bugs.
When he when he dies, it looks like he deflates also.
Right?
So I think you gotta
blow up doll.
You gotta eat all of the. To win the board, you gotta eat all of those holes. You see? You gotta eat those gaps in the floor. Not now. You already got. No. Go back up. Go back up.
I'm dead. What do you mean, go back up?
Yeah. Why didn't you die? Well, I guess only the red ones kill you when they hit the side of your tongue. Interesting. So go in there.
No, it's the worms. The worms kill you.
No, the worms didn't kill you.
The worm
the worms kill you when they touch. The worm kills you when they touch the tip of your tongue, and the red ants kill you when they touch the side of your tongue. Interesting. The worms you gotta avoid just the tip with, but you can go down. Yeah, you gotta get the red ants to kill that. Go down the hole there.
I am attempting to do so.
No, don't go back! Don't go back! Don't go back! Go down the hole! Oh my god. Yes! Don't go back up, you'll die.
I can't... Oh my god.
What happened now? Chocolate, the red ant's gonna kill you at the top! At the top! At the top! Oh, you're dead.
Stu, are you watching on YouTube?
Actually I was. I didn't realize.
You are such an idiot! It's delayed on YouTube!
I'm sorry, I forgot.
I've got screen share up for you. Oh my god.
I'm sorry. Alright, I'll watch
it. I was like, what is he screaming at? I'm like already past that part.
I was confused.
Yeah, I know. I can tell.
Alright, now get that one up there. Get that yellow one.
He got carried away.
Go, retract! Oh man.
This is not easy at all. Holy shit, you really have to pay attention to like everything.
Yeah, it's a hard game.
He just walks away if you don't start. He's like, well, I guess the player doesn't want to do anything. Why did the environment just change?
What happened?
I don't know.
Maybe it's like level 2? I don't know.
He's going to level 3 now. He's like, fuck it. They're not hitting start. They might as well go to level 3.
This is weird.
Anyway.
It's a prototype, so.
Yeah, well, it's still pretty cool. There's a game box for it, even though it never got released.
This is copyright 2024. They should sell a physical version.
Hang on, let's read the back of that for a sec. As the ant bear, the object of the game is to your tongue. What? The object of the game is to your tongue to collect as many insects as possible before your time or chances run out. The deeper you venture underground, the riskier it gets. If you don't get your tongue out of the way fast enough, it's game over. Okay. In search of the golden skull, programmer Jerry Lawson, who designed Fairchild's Channel F console, also created this treasure hunt adventure game that was never finished. Its large ROM and RAM requirements would have made it expensive to produce. Well, I guess they never put it on the collection then. They just put a screenshot of it.
Well, it looks like it wasn't finished, so they probably couldn't.
Sea Battle, a favorite of Intellivision players. Sea Battle needed to be simplified for its 2600 debut in both gameplay, depth, and visuals, but still offers a strategic naval challenge for 2 players. It remains unpublished until 2000, and then only in limited quantities.
Sea Battle? Interesting. So I guess that's true, but they made it for television, so like, I mean, who cares, really? Why don't you play the television version?
Sea Battle, platform Atari 2600, unreleased prototype. This strategy game pits 2 rival naval commanders against each other in open waters, each in control of a navy of 12 ships. Different vessels feature different weaponry and capabilities, but there's no retreating. Every conflict resolves with someone's ship being sunk. Okay, what are the controls here? Up, down, left, right, and X again.
It's probably 2 players.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't even see a ship on the screen. Well, this is an A for effort. That's for sure.
Actually, looks really good. I think this is the best game on the collection so far.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's an amazing game. I don't know where the game comes in, but it's definitely an interesting screen.
Yeah, this is a little weird.
Oh my god. The game... Okay. Fun fact, nobody cares about... Back in 1980, Mattel released... If you're going to talk about the game in the manual, talk about the game. This is like the entire story.
Well,
This is the entire story about it. In 1980,
if you look what it says though, like they're explaining how like even though it was not officially released, it was released like unofficially at the Classic Gaming Expo. So they made this box and this manual for that. So they're just reproducing the same what they sold there.
Okay, be sure both controllers... The game begins in map mode. The white harbor at top of screen belongs to the left controller. The yellow harbor at bottom belongs to the right controller. Launch your ships with the goal of entering and capturing your opponent's harbor. Engage enemy ships in battle to stop them from entering yours. But the thing is that nothing's starting the game. When the game begins, both harbors are flashing to indicate ships are ready to be launched. There are 4 types of ships. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I understand what I'm doing, it's not working. So those are the harbors flashing, all 4 of them. Pressing left, right, up, and down does nothing. The X button, which is the red button, also does nothing.
I unfortunately have no idea.
Okay, so that's not playable. It's simply not playable. Lack of interaction. Strange. Sword fight. The glowing weapon suggests Steve Tatsumi took at least some inspiration for his tactical combat game from science fiction films. Unfortunately, Sword Fight's 2-player nature caused it to remain unreleased, save for a limited production run in 2000.
I don't get that. They didn't have a problem releasing the other 2-player games. But whatever.
You and a Fred control futuristic knights, Jedis, locked in sword combat. Use a variety of moves to attack, defend, and ultimately vanquish your foe. They look like Jedis. Look at that. Yellow lightsaber and a red lightsaber. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it says the sword is obviously based on a lightsaber, the way the blade extends and the sound effects.
Sword Fight, platform Atari 2600, unreleased prototype. 2 futuristic knights face off in a battle of blades in this head-to-head fighting game. Each player has 3 offensive and 3 defensive moves. When a fighter takes a hit, a layer of their platform is removed. And let me guess, are the controls exactly like every previous game? Up, down, left, right. Select. Yep. Activate lightsaber. Wow, you guys aren't even... Okay.
Yeah, they call it lightsaber. It's sword but lightsaber, that's a little bit weird.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Make up your mind.
Make up your... Right? We don't know what it is, we're just...
This is cool though. Let's see if I can find a copy of this.
Well, this is not going to work.
No, it's 2 players.
It's a 2-player game.
It's 2 players. Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is fun. I've got
You can't swing your sword? You can't attack the guy?
No.
No.
What the
I don't
hell?
get this at all.
sword up, sword down, sword left, sword right. I've tried that. That doesn't work.
And you gotta hold the button down while you do it or something?
That brings up that. Okay. Okay, select game variation. No game variations available for this game. So why even have the option? So stupid.
That's pretty stupid.
My Schwartz is bigger than yours.
What? You did something.
Yeah, I
heard.
That was just the sound of the.
Stuck your sword out.
That was just the sound of the lightsaber coming out.
That's something, at least.
Yep, I managed to take out my Schwartz, but that's all I can do. All right. Tower of Mystery. Tower of Mystery, based on Dungeons and Dragons, was created by Jane Turgeon, then modified by Mike Sanders. This prototype includes a special setting that limits the game to only 4 levels. It is believed this was created for demo use at the January 1984 Consumer Electronics Show. You were going to say something?
Never mind.
Okay. Notable and quotable. I had been told that I was going to get to work on the Dungeons and Dragons game. D&D was in my whole life. I ate, drank, and slept D&D, so I was really chomping at the bit to work on it. Jane Turgeon. She ate, drank, and slept D&D. Probably healthier than McDonald's anyway. Tower of Mystery EPROM. Unlike retail cartridges, EPROM's erasable programmable read-only memory allow programmers to remove, replace, or rewrite the data on the chips during development. This Tower of Mystery EPROM is from Jane Turgeon's personal collection.
Cool.
In April 2024, Jane Turgeon worked with the Video Game History Foundation to preserve one of the only known copies of Tower of Mystery. She was able to play her creation for the first time in 40 years. Well, she's not really playing it because the computer's not even at her. She's like, "Can I play now? Come on, you've had your chance."
You can get a sword fight from AtariAge.com. I'm gonna actually order a copy of it right now. Actually, hold on. This review here.
Isn't it
2
good?
stars. 2 out of 5 stars. An unreleased M-Network prototype. This released in 2009. Sword fight, which requires 2 players, features 2 large figures on floating platforms singing laser swords at each other. Hit your opponents enough times and you win. Simple enough. If anything, though, sword fight is too simple. While it's decent graphics, the controls are underutilized. You can swing and block. Okay, whatever. Basically, it says that it's very, very basic. So I guess that's why they didn't release it, because it's probably shit.
It's even more basic in this collection.
Yeah.
As a brave adventurer, your goal is to escape the Tower of Mystery with your life and perhaps a bit of treasure. As you map the maze-like rooms from top to bottom, you'll collect weapons and magical items that will help you survive encounters with myriad monsters. The deeper you descend, the more dangerous the journey becomes. Steel your courage for a showdown with the tower's undead ruler, Aga Aga. What kind of a name is that? It just sounds like somebody choking on a piece of meat.
You have to reshare for me.
I can do that. I will definitely do that. Yes. Alrighty. There you go. Tower of Mystery, platform Atari 2600, unreleased prototype. magical objects aid players as they battle fantasy monsters in this early action RPG. This recently rescued one-player prototype uses 2 joysticks, one for player control, the other for consulting the map and the current status of the quest. Thank God, one player.
Okay, so could you play it? Wait, but does this require 2 joysticks?
The PS5 has 2 joysticks. The PS4 has 2 joysticks too. Go look at your controller. They're not called joysticks, but you know what I'm talking about. Up, down, left, right, action.
Yeah, but how do you use 2 joysticks at the same time on PS5?
What is going on here? Is this typing in my name? I haven't even started the damn game yet.
Yeah, this is what be thy name.
What be thy name? Well, I tell you if I can hit the next button. Because there is no way for me to tell you my name when I can't even get to the next letter. Wow, this is... Well, where's the select button? Like, I'm hitting X and that's not working. Oh, there we go.
Oh, you got something. There you go.
Oh, can we just hit N? Like, this is stupid. That's my name. Let's just play the game. Here we go.
There you go.
It doth appear I need a key for that door. It's a good thing I just picked one up. Let's go to that... Oh, it's probably for the... Oh, we need a red key. Ah, okay. Now I get it. What the hell is that? What? Hold on. What the hell just happened?
Wow.
I fell into a bottomless pit. So, hold on.
This is interesting, actually.
It is. The problem is the controls are very confusing.
So apparently this was later released. It was called Tower of Doom. It looks very different on television. Whoa, that's cool. You're going down the stairs. That's cool. That's cool visual.
That is.
It's interesting because there's a lot of information about this game on the internet, and it says basically it'll never be released because of licensing issues with Dungeons and Dragons. But somehow it looks like they got the ability to put this on this collection, which is really cool. So this is the first time it's ever been released is on this collection. So that's awesome.
That is.
Yeah.
Mattel Electronics closes. After the 1983 game industry crash, the world's largest toy company suddenly found itself in grave danger with a negative net worth. Mattel closed the electronics division in February 1984 and quickly sold the Intellivision assets to a group of investors led by Mattel executive Terry Valesky. Under new ownership, a group of Intellivision programmers led by Keith Robinson bought Intellivision's library of games in 1997 and made them available for more than a decade. Atari acquired Intellivision's assets in May 2024, bringing both brands under the same stewardship. The first console wars. What we now call the console wars started in earnest when Atari and Mattel battled for the hearts and wallets of early 1980s gamers. In this video, players and participants on both sides reflect on the 50-year-old rivalry.
It's been noted over the years that when there are at least 2 and sometimes 3 consoles fighting it out is when the video game business is its healthiest.
I think there were only some of the business people for whom it was war. And even though I'm the one who started saying cartridge wars, that was a turn of phrase as a metaphor as opposed to and let's draw blood. But inside the toy industry, they really did think that way. Maybe it was mid-November of '82. And so we do a demo. But the VP of marketing, his fancy suit's in there. The VP turns his head very slowly and he looks at me and he goes, "What you have to understand, young man, is that we are at war. We are at war with Atari," which tells you the attitudes of Mattel. "Every sale that we make takes something away from Atari and gives it to us. And even if I can't sell it now, I can stop somebody from buying an Atari now with this game. And that's why we're putting it on television. And you have to understand that this is a war." I don't know if I can get my eyelids as low as his, but so we got the speech.
To Atari, it was a console war. To Mattel's Intellivision, it was a console war. To Activision, it was an opportunity.
And as kids, we didn't care at all. I would go over friends' houses to play ColecoVision, and I was amazed.
He's burning himself. Don't eat burritos, kids.
But the games were still a blast to play, and we just ignored that. And same thing with television. Tons of fun games in television. Controller stuff, so we didn't care. We were having fun playing the games.
It's just ironic that there's much less of a console war now, because, I mean, how many different consoles can you play Call of Duty on? All of them? Right. So it doesn't even work that way anymore. But if you wanted to play a particular game, if you wanted to play Plimpton's baseball or whatever they called it, you had to have the Intellivision. There was no other way. And that certainly did make it a battle.
If you go back and you look at the old Intellivision and Atari commercials and how they duel in different ways and sometimes make fun of each other and so on, you see the height of it as far as the public was concerned.
It was definitely a console war between the 2 console makers, but we could use any console we wanted, and in fact would occasionally do that. We would say this game would work so much better on the Intellivision, let's put it over on the Intellivision shelf and work on it when we can. So yes, there was a console war, but there were those of us who benefited from it.
I mean, Atari was so far ahead in sales, I don't think they really worried about the Intel. Maybe at first they did, but they were outselling it.
Yes, it was a war, but I think that the money was so heavily on the Atari side that, Mattel was fighting a losing battle out the door.
Atari sold about 27.5 million VCSs. But that's between 1977 and 1991. I don't know if that's if the numbers for the Intellivision are from just Mattel Electronics, but their total run was about 3 million.
Well, they say that history goes to the victors. As the guy who coined the term console war, I would say actually that Atari won the first console war, because as much as I hate to say it, we never caught Atari in sales. We never sold as many games, we never sold as many consoles. Making money in this business is something that you have to do in order to keep making games. We're driven by passion. We have a love of making games. In the end, console wars are the business part of it. We as game makers never felt like we were at war. We're just trying to build great games that will sell.
Okay. So I'm going to say a few things, but we'll just finish this off first. Peace, love, and games. In the end, console wars are the business part of it. We as game makers never felt like we were at war. We're just trying to build great games. Don Daglow. All right, so I find it funny that a lot of modern day gamers always were saying, and these guys made a very valid point in the fact that a lot of modern day games are always released on both consoles. So all these gamers that say, oh, console wars, modern day console wars, it's not really a thing. It hasn't been a thing for a very long time. As a matter of fact, even less so today, because the new Microsoft CEO, the sales of the Microsoft console were not successful this generation, the Xbox Series X I'm referring to. And because of that, Microsoft's new CEO is pushing for the Xbox exclusive titles to come to PlayStation. So we're expected to get games like Halo and Gears of War and stuff like that on the PlayStation consoles sometime either before the end of the year or next year. And therefore, what I'm saying is console wars are a thing of the past now. They're not really a thing, because Sony is doing the same thing for Microsoft. Microsoft is doing the same thing for Sony. So Sony's releasing their exclusives to the Microsoft consoles, and vice versa. Microsoft is releasing their exclusives to the Sony consoles. We've already seen several Microsoft exclusive games on Sony console already, like Sea of Thieves and stuff like that. So the whole console war is a thing of the past. It quite clearly is. Where these game companies that were at one time rivals with each other are now working together to bring their console games to both consoles so that they're making more money. Stu, are you still there?
So, no, I'm here. I'm just waiting for you to finish talking. You're like filibustering there. I'm just kidding. No, are you sure this is the end of it? Because I'm looking at the list of what games are supposed to be on this thing. I mean, there's no Intellivision games, which is very, very, very surprising and, frankly, bullshit.
This is the end.
But there are supposed to be some other games aside from the M Network stuff. It says, like, the list that I'm looking at here, it says it's all supposed to be, like, video pinball and hardball and a few other things.
Well, let's go to the video. He was sleeping?
Maybe they lied and didn't actually put that stuff on there. I don't know.
So let's sort by platform, maybe. No, sort by title. You said video pinball?
That was one of them, it said. Yeah, you just passed it. But was that new? Like, how do you find where it is in the thing? Hold on a second. This is really confusing.
Yeah, it is.
Expanded edition.
So you have the list in front of you, correct?
Yeah, I'm looking at Wikipedia. It's mostly the ones you showed already, but it also has video pinball, hardball, Zari Arena, Final Legacy, and Desert Falcon.
Okay, so list those ones. So set those ones.
Two versions of Desert Falcon, actually.
All right, so set those ones down. We're gonna have to go through the game library and show these off. So let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll do that now. We'll start out with the first one on the list is video pinball, correct?
Yeah, it's first list it's video pinball.
Okay. All right, so we'll do that. Video pinball, platform Atari 2600, release year 1980. Programmer Bob Smith brought familiar pinball gameplay to television screens in 1980, including independent flipper control and a nudge feature to encourage the ball to drift in a different direction. Just like players on physical tables, Sears published this game under the title Arcade Pinball.
Oh boy.
Looks amazing already. I can't wait.
Not a good start.
No.
That's funny. Prepare yourself for the most awesome pinball simulator you've ever seen on Atari. I mean, it's decent. The flippers move. It actually plays. It's more than you can see from some of the other games on this collection. I mean, you're not supposed to just press the flippers randomly, you know.
No, I know that. I'm still getting used. I'm still getting used to the controls.
Oh man, what's that? The physics are really weird. There's no way a ball ever bounce like this.
It doesn't feel like pinball.
Yeah, I'd say the physics are really weird. That's why it doesn't feel like pinball.
It feels like Arkanoid with flippers.
All right, you got something. I don't know what that is, but good job. Oh wow! You don't have to hit it; just let it bounce. Oh no! Oh no! That was disgraceful. Does 2 mean it's ball number 2? It probably does.
I think I'll stick to my modern day pinball tables on console. I have this entire pinball.
Come on, this is like the best pinball game I've ever seen in my life.
What?
You don't like this?
No,
this is like way better than
real
those fancy pinball tables in the arcade.
Oh yeah, totally. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, if you like really want to play pinball and you didn't have anything else,
I definitely apologize for Stu's senility right now. Fortunately, there's not much we can do about it.
Hey, I'm telling you, this is a good pinball game.
Yeah.
And also, listen up. You know what I'm trying to say? It's a good game, right? You better believe it, Jack.
Okay. All right. What? You just sound like an ad for the 1980s.
I was trying to do a bad Joe Biden impression.
Oh.
You said I was senile.
Okay. Let me tell you, folks. Video pinball is the best pinball, okay? It's #1 in the Trump family book. Alright.
No, the actual best pinball game is Atari's Trump
pinball game.
Stu Saget approves the pinball game. There you go. So what was the next game on our list?
Basketball. Basketball.
God.
Basketball is actually a cool game. I mean, it's very basic.
I wish you could search by name. That would be nice. Type in what you're looking for.
I think it probably take you longer.
I'm assuming this is the
basketball,
one?
Not basketball.
Oh, yeah.
No, basketball. Keep going. That's it. Why does your thing is confidential Atari? What was that?
These are unlock. We've already gone through this before. These are unlockables. So it gives you a riddle that you have to solve, and then if you solve it in said game, you unlock these exclusive Atari. Yeah.
Got it.
A dead end hides a secret room in Graves Academy. To find its treasure, pass the test. It's elementary.
I'm assuming that's based off of Haunted Mansion or Haunted House or whatever.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds like Sherlock Holmes.
Basketball Platform Atari 2600, release year 1978. One of the first sports games on the VCS. Basketball's profile view sticks to the rudiments of a one-on-one game of hoops. Grab the ball, avoid your opponent, and score a basket. Holding the joystick's button will adjust the angle of your shot, and crowding the other player will sometimes allow you to steal the ball. Are these basketball players naked? What am I looking at here?
I think it's supposed to be his knee, but that's really funny, actually. Is yours that low down? Because mine's a little higher up.
Hey, I'm gonna steal your ball, see?
Yeah, I think you gotta change the mode to like a one-player mode, like the game type. You first maybe learn to shoot because you're too far away from something. There you go. I think you have to hold down the button more. Press the button while you're next to it. There you go. There you go. Now try to actually make it a one-player game. Why does the colors keep freaking doing that? I don't think you even started the game. I think it's on practice mode. Press the start button.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Now it's a real game. But it's still only a one-player game. It's only a two-player game. I mean, you gotta switch to a one-player game. How much time did they give you? 4,000, whatever. Oh, he was actually moving, the other guy. There you go. Now you're going. Now, why is the colors changing again? There's something wrong here. There's something screwed up. It's not supposed to say 4,050 on the top. It's supposed to be like 3 minutes or something like that. They broke this game. How can they put stuff on here and not test it? What the hell? No, seriously, what the hell? What the fuck? Excuse me. This bullshit. I'm looking at a screenshot for this game right now, and I'm 99% sure it's not supposed to say 4,000 at the top.
Keep your penis away from my balls, see?
Yeah, it's supposed to have a countdown like 3 minutes or 4 minutes or something like
That's
that.
what that
4,044.
Stu, I think that's 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
Well, then why does the 0 not look like a colon, which it's supposed to?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's.
So I'm saying they can't freaking like do basic quality checks at all. Like, how can they be this broken? This is something you notice as soon as you turn the game on. Unless the person that made this collection they never played this game and never knew what it looked like, which in which case is disgraceful. Seriously, this is completely disgraceful.
I don't know. I'm having
not
fun.
kidding.
I'm having fun going against Penis Man.
Well, it's that's not the disgraceful part. It is. I told you it's a good game. But like, I don't understand how they have the emulation so bad.
Come back here with my bar. I want my bar.
Alright.
Oh my god.
Alright.
That's so disgraceful, honestly.
Let's go to the next one.
The next one was hard.
About this game and he loved the paintball one. Interesting.
Lewis says Stu is.
One?
I don't remember. It was for a paintball one that we covered? Probably.
I don't think so. They made a different stream. This next game is called Hard Balls. No, Hard Balls. There you go. Oh, Hard Balls. Sorry.
Hard Balls.
Oh, I thought it was Hard Balls. Sorry about that.
That's the other game, Stu.
This is this game. I think you know what it's famous for. It's famous for being the game in the beginning of The Princess Bride that he's playing it when he's sick in bed.
Hardball, platform Atari 800, release year 1987. Accolade's baseball game became one of the most popular sports titles of the mid-1980s, thanks to its detailed graphics, changing camera angles, and blend of arcade and simulation elements. Players directly control batters, pitchers, and fielders for arcade-style action, but can also make coaching decisions like player substitutions.
Lewis, that's what she said.
That is what she said. That's how you know. Copyright.
So I think the Commodore 64 version. I think the Commodore version is the more famous one. I don't know about the Atari. I don't think I ever played the Atari version.
I don't even know what I'm doing right now.
Why is it moving both of them at the same time? Oh, using the joystick. What? You shouldn't be moving both at the same time.
It is.
Oh, it is. What do I see? I see. It is both at the same time. You gotta, just pick one. Doesn't matter. Just say no. Select to play ball. You'll press select, whatever one that is. Let's start. Press select now. No, don't do that. Cancel. Press select.
I need to look at these controls. What the hell is the select button?
Is that thing?
L1, okay. Alright, let's reset this.
Press select now.
Oh! I wasn't expecting it to look like this, that's for damn sure.
This is for the Atari 8-bit, it's not for the 2600, that's why. They played National Anthem. But it sounded better on the Commodore.
Hold on, though. How am I...
It's playing the National Anthem, you have to wait. Alright, now it's done, now you can start playing the game. You're pitching right now, looks like. Hello? What happened?
I just controlled... The action button is the X, and it's not doing anything.
Well, you gotta press up and X, or left and X, or right and X, or down and X at the same time. Hold left and press X. Not doing anything?
Nope.
Really?
Really?
Maybe you're just stuck. Well, something just came on the screen for a second. It went away though. Maybe you do that to... No, go back. Do it. Oh, this is bunt now.
Yeah, I see that.
What? That's weird. You can't move anything left or right and it does nothing?
Yes, I'm pressing all the buttons on my control pad. Nothing's doing anything.
That seems to work to select.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the most exciting sports game ever. Look at all these players just having a ball. Ha 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 ha.
I will stream this game eventually on my channel, Stu's Game Review. So just subscribe to that, and you'll see this eventually. Even if it's not today.
That's crazy. Like it's like it seems like none of these were games were tested before they shoved them onto here, because
yeah, it seems like
their buttons aren't doing anything. The buttons that they say work don't do anything. Quite literally.
I'm pissed off now, Jobu. Look, I go to you. I tried to play your stupid games, but you don't help me.
Yeah, start.
So I say, fuck you, Jobu.
Start just.
I'll do it myself.
Start just takes us back to the main menu. So yeah, no, that's
great game. That was really good. I thought that was really an excellent game. The next game is Final Legacy. Final Legacy. There you go. This is no, it's not this one. It's a prototype for the 5200. It's not even there. Go back. Wait a second. Did we play? Okay, hold on a second. Let's say that's the only one that's here. So, did we play this one before? I don't know. Maybe they put the Atari 8-bit version on instead, and this guy got it wrong.
I guess.
Let me check.
Platform, Final Legacy platform, Atari 800, release year 1984. In a post-war future, long-dormant computers have resumed hostilities, unaware that the world is at peace. As the commander of the battleship Legacy, players must navigate dangerous waters while destroying missile bases and defending their vessel through multiple action sequences.
Okay.
Fantastic intro, let me tell you, that was the best intro ever.
This is Atari 8-bit, so...
Start to begin.
He's like, start, that's it. Start this damn thing.
What am I doing here? Navigation.
Oh, I think you're actually moving, because just every time you move, you lose fuel.
Yeah, moving.
Go back the way you came. Okay, you lose fuel, so you're actually traveling around. I don't know why. We stop at, like... fly to the... Yeah, okay, you can't do that. So, like, shoot something? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, let's go to this seagull.
Shoot that right thing. Okay. Oh shit, watch out! No! This game is too complicated.
Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it? It's pretty sad when the Sequest DSV game on the Super Nintendo was better than that.
Well, Super Nintendo is way more than NES, obviously.
Yeah, no, I know.
All right, next one is called Xari Arena. It starts with an X.
Starts with an X?
Yeah. I never heard of this game.
Xari Arena.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. Well, I said Xari, because I figured if I said Xari, I think it starts with a Z. Unreleased prototype.
No, you made it sound like it was Sorry Arena, like sorry, like I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Like, oh, it must be a Canadian game. Xari Arena, platform Atari 5200, unreleased prototype. Consider this prototype something of a reverse version of Breakout. Players defend walls of bricks on either side of the screen when the Xari aliens that spawn from the Xari aliens that spawn from the center. When all of the Xari have been eliminated, it's on to the next wave.
I'm sorry. So sorry.
Up, down, left,
I'm
X.
sorry. Ooh, cool.
Wave 1.
This might actually be a game.
This might actually be a game.
Well, maybe not. Oh, you ate something. You caught something. Oh, good job. Alright. Whoa. But it's a two-player game, it looks like. This is a very uninspired type game, in my opinion. Like, yeah, whatever. I wonder why this wasn't released. Sorry, Arena.
Well, my partner's not doing too well, but I managed to keep on my wall intact.
I mean, I don't think it's much of a challenge if you're playing against somebody who can't move.
That's true.
It's like, wow, I beat the guy who can't use his controller. Good job. I played a guy with no arms and I won. Woo-hoo.
Alright. What's the next one on our list there? Is that it?
The last one is Desert Falcon.
Desert Falcon.
So apparently, we already played this for the 2600, and now they have the 7800. So we want to put the 2600 version again first, just so we can see the difference. Put the 2600 on first, yeah. Then when we try it, I don't remember it at all.
Desert Falcon. Platform Atari 2600, release year 1987. This arcade-style flight shooter pits would-be treasure hunters against thematically ancient Egyptian guardians, such as vultures and scarabs. While it cannot compare visually to the 7800 version, Desert Falcon 2600 still delivers the core gameplay. Keep an eye on your bird's shadow to gauge your height.
You realize, like, when they put this on here originally, it's like, well, it can't compare to the 7800 version. We still put this shitty version on anyway. We didn't put the 7800 version
We
on.
still gave you
like,
the crappy version. Enjoy this terrible game.
Yeah, what is this?
I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing. Avoiding being hit.
Alright, forget this crap. Put on the other one, the one that you actually can see what you're doing.
Well, hang on.
The 7800
I'm making some progress now.
Oh, you're flying. You're flying for a second.
Never.
Oh, you got shot again.
Never mind. I was making progress.
Yeah,
Desert Falcon. Wait. They were both released the same year? Interesting. Desert Falcon, platform Atari 7800, release year 1987. A novel isometric shooter with a mix of flight shooting and item collection gameplay. Desert Falcon was built exclusively for Atari platforms in the post-NES era. The challenging gameplay of the 7800 version recalls arcade mainstays like Zaxxon, Defender, and Xevious. One player. Let's do Novice, because I'm retarded. Oh.
So
Wow.
looks a little better.
Yeah, there's actually ground now.
That thing just came out of the ground. You can fly too, so fly a little bit. Can you fly?
Not that I'm seeing.
Can you fly? There's a way to fly. You would fly. There you go.
No, it just does it automatically.
Pull back on the joystick, I guess. Yeah. It's like Zaxxon. Very similar. Get 3 Hyros. What's a Hyro? Maybe those things you just flew over that you didn't get. It's that thing. Get that cane. Get those. There's some stuff you gotta pick up. We're gonna fly to the pyramid.
No, I see how I see how this works now. I have to. Okay.
You got money, but you didn't get a Pyro. You get 3 Hyros.
Okay, so I have to fly up and down every time.
Yeah, take off. There you go. Get that. I'm not sure if that is. If there's something. No, go over the. Okay, get that. Get that thing.
I don't think that's an actual object to pick up. Oh, I guess it is.
It was something. I think it's a Hyro.
No, because it would have said get to. Oh.
Look at boss. This game is not bad. It looks decent.
Yeah, it looks a lot better than the. It looks a lot better than the old Atari version. That's for sure. The old Atari version didn't even have any ground, so it was very hard to understand what I was doing. Wait, how am I supposed to defeat this thing if it's not taking any damage?
Maybe it's taking damage, just not blinking or anything. You can actually hit it though. I think you're hitting it to the right of it. You're not hitting it head on. Your bullets are going.
Well, I can't exactly hit it head on if.
Now you're shooting over its head. Well, you got to. You're still missing it.
I see what you're saying.
You can see your shadow.
Yeah, I have to lower myself.
You're shooting to the right of it. You gotta get. Oh, there you go. Now you're hitting it finally. And I wonder if that's good enough because you're not hitting the face. Maybe you got hit in the face. A little lower. I know it's hard because they shoot that shit right at you. Oh, you got him.
And then it flew right into him. That's
that was fantastic. Bullshit. That's bullshit. Well, that was like a bonus part. A bunch of money, but your time's running out. You have only 8 seconds. You're gonna fly because you go much slower when you're on the ground. That was a timed area.
Yeah, I got it.
Then level 2 now.
Oh, come on.
This is definitely the best game you played all night, though.
I think so too, actually. We'll do one more round. Oh, come on, man.
When you walk on the ground like that, it's like stressing me out. Yeah, there you go. That's better.
I'm walking on the ground.
It's like freaking.
I'm walking on the ground.
It's stressful the way how slow he goes.
I'm walking on the ground to grab the objects.
I know, but you gotta like swoop down and get them. That guy just killed himself. He flew into a wall. That was cool. You get that. That's 2. You got 2 Hyros now. You do the best. Look at that one on the floor right there, right to the right of the pyramids. Oh, you got 3. Okay. Just hit R button for invincibility. You wait till you get to the boss, though.
I don't know what the R button is.
What's the R button, anyway? That's what I was thinking, too. What's the R button?
Yeah.
Check your controls. Oh, it says tap twice, because they couldn't bar it.
Okay.
What?
Super ability is hit... Why would you have to tap it twice?
I don't know, why could they map that to an actual freaking button? The quality of this collection has definitely gone downhill.
Come here, see? I'm invincible.
Oh, you're invincible now. You're invincible. Shoot the... Oh, okay, good job. Alright, pick up shit. You gotta like, oh, come on, man.
I'm coming. I'll get you crystals. It might just take a little while.
This is the best game so far. It's not that good though. It's just like okay.
I don't mind it. It's decent.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Like I said, it's fine. It's not wonderful though. It's just fine.
God.
Well, honestly, when you're walking on the floor, it's so slow that it's really annoying. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. It makes sense, I guess, but it's still freaking annoying.
Yeah.
You got one more. Hit R button to hold Sphinx. What the hell is that, man? Go up. You're stuck.
I'm stuck, yeah.
You fucked yourself. Oh well, game over.
Oh well, at least we got to...
I would think something was weird about this. Desert Falcon, it sounds like it's a plane, but it's like literally a Desert Falcon. Like, isn't that weird? Like,
yeah.
Like, isn't Desert Falcon a plane? Isn't that even like a jet or something?
I think so, yeah.
Desert Falcon.
And this is clearly not that.
It's really strange, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, this was honestly a disappointing collection, in my opinion, because I guess they didn't have
I wouldn't say a
thing.
collection. I would say a disappointing DLC, because the entire
Correct.
collection,
This is DLC.
the entire
Right,
collection of
I don't mean the whole
Atari,
thing.
yeah, the Atari collection of Atari 50th anniversary is well worth your money. So the main collection includes all of these, which have a shit ton of games in them and videos. Then these two, the wider world of Atari and the first console war. Why is it saying we explored 0% of it when we did the whole thing?
I don't know. Weird bug.
And that makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, they're right. The DLC is disappointing because I guess they couldn't put a television emulator on here, but I don't see why not. It would be so much better if they would put television games instead of just the Atari versions of the television games. And the other stuff wasn't even linked from the journey, so we had to like search for them randomly. And plus, there were so many bugs in terms of like one-player games, two-player games, and just like the setup of the controls and the bug in basketball on the timer. Like,
yeah,
it just seems like they didn't really quality check this at all.
Yeah. Now they did release a patch a couple of days ago, and I would have figured that this patch would have fixed the bugs in the DLC, but I guess it didn't. I guess it fixed other bugs.
Imagine how bad it was without the patch.
Maybe it fixed patches in the first DLC. I don't know. But I don't know what they're going to do next with this, because they said that these are the two final DLCs. But who freaking knows, man? I mean, when this collection first came out, they said they weren't going to add to it, and then suddenly these DLCs came out. So you never know. Next year we could see another DLC coming out for this, covering something else.
It's probably though because Atari bought the company. So probably originally they didn't have any plans to add to it, and then when Atari bought the company, they probably like, we want you guys to do it. But I mean, if they said now there's not going to be any more, I assume there's not going to be any more. And I hope, honestly, I think they should like move on to something else.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. You never know. They could something else could happen at Atari, and suddenly it's another way to make more money with a DLC for this.
I guess.
Yeah. So
they should do something. Maybe they should do a television collection. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're going to do like something just for Intellivision now.
I mean, if they decide to do that, I'll grab that as well, because I wouldn't mind grabbing that as well. All in all, the entire package with all the DLCs, I do enjoy it. I mean, obviously they need to patch the entire patches, the entire collection, all with the DLCs, well worth the money in my opinion. I do enjoy what they have here. Some of the games obviously are buggy, and some of them only allow you to play them in 2 players. They need to fix that. They need to make it so that if we don't have a 2 players to do that, we need to be able to play it single player against the computer. So if they release a bug to fix all that, then that's going to be well worth it, at least for the first Console War DLC. The rest of the DLCs seem to work fine. We only encountered, I think, 1 or 2 games that were that were 2 player in the Wider World of Atari DLC, and then the rest of the content had mostly single player games. So all in all, I do think that the entire package is well worth the money, and you get to really experience the birth of Atari and all their highs and lows, all their great games, all their not so great games. It's kind of all included in one big package. So all in all, I do think that it's a really good collection to have, especially if you're a fan of the Atari games. What about you?
It's aight.
It's aight? What? Okay, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Thanks for the.
It's a good collection, and overall, overall, like, ignore the DLC, it's an excellent collection. With the DLC, it's, I guess, even better. I'm just disappointed in the DLC, that's all. But I think the collection itself is great.
Yeah, I mean, it's better that it was made than not being made, because it's pushing all these classic Atari games out here for a generation that likely never experienced them. Because
100%. I wonder if you'll actually play it though.
I don't know. That's the thing. I think younger gamers are probably not going to be so interested because they're more interested in their Call of Duties and all that kind of stuff. But I do know that I have some friends younger than me who saw this and were like, "Oh, this is really cool," and they really enjoyed it. So cool. It depends on it. It honestly depends on the gamer. I mean, for me, I obviously love my modern games just like everybody else, but I also like to revisit the past as well. So for me, I think it's awesome. And I never had an Atari as a kid. My very first console was the N64, and that was mainly because my parents were not really super keen on video games when I was a kid. So I didn't actually own any video game consoles aside from the classic Game Boy until the N64, and I bought that myself. My parents didn't buy that for me. I was working and I was like, yeah, I want a console, so I bought that. Before then, it was mostly PC games. Now, my parents did buy me a lot of PC games growing up, so I had like all of the Sierra point-and-click adventure games, most of the LucasArts point-and-click adventure games, but I didn't have any Atari or Commodore 64 or any of that stuff. I didn't have any of that. So
yeah, I didn't have an Atari back in the day either. Actually, like yeah. I played it though because so many of my friends had it, so it was like out there. It was very common.
Yeah. So for me, I didn't have any friends who owned the Atari console. So for me, my first experience with Atari games would have been watching stuff on your channel, helping you in the odd 2-player game on your channel, and this collection that I picked up for myself. Aside from that, I really
some more of those somewhere.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, anytime. But this is my first experience with the Atari console as a whole. I've never actually had one. And again, most of the consoles that I do have currently are I have the Sega Genesis, Sega Dreamcast, sorry, PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Switch and PC, and that's it. That's my collection. So I don't. And the NES and SNES Mini, I have those as well. Which I fixed up. They come with 30 games. They're not supposed to come with 750.
Yeah.
But
I have the same thing.
I fixed it a little bit. I was like,
yeah, I hear that.
I was just gonna put all of Nintendo's library and Super Nintendo library on these things. So I did, and it's a lot of fun. I wish you could stream from them, but you can't. They're very basic. I mean, all they really are they're just what are they? They're just USB hard drives that have like the built around shell of the. Because honestly, what I think it is it's just a USB hard drive that you plug in, and the shell of it is just shaped like an NES or SNES. And it's just ROMs. That's all it is. It's just ROMs. It's just playing
there's
ROMs.
An emulator.
Yeah, it's just an
emulator. There's an emulator there, obviously, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, I mean, I have both of those, and I have not modded them, even though I downloaded, some mod stuff.
Oh, it's so easy. So easy to do. So easy.
I know, but I don't really care. This is the thing. I only really bought the Super Nintendo one for the Star Fox 2 game, which was released. And the original one I only really bought just because it was a novelty item at the time when it came out. Like, everyone had it. It was sort of cool. But I played it a couple times, and I don't like... I mean, I have them on my computer, the ROM, so, I don't need that little doohickey, you know what I mean?
It's just cool because of the old Nintendo controller that it comes with, and the old Super Nintendo controller.
But I have, I have two Nintendo USB controllers that I bought a long time ago when Nintendo emulators first became a thing, and they're actual Nintendo controllers that someone took the end off and put a USB plug on the end, so they're totally original, except just the end is different, but the plug is different. But yeah, my point is I play those. I don't need the NES Mini. It's cool that I have it. It's cool.
Did you not feel that the controllers that came with the NES Mini and the SNES Mini were the same thing though? They felt like the original controllers to me.
They're pretty good. They're a little bit lighter, I think, but they're basically the same. But my point is though, I already have that on my PCs. It's not like it doesn't give me anything extra.
Yeah.
But I did play it for a while. I even bought extension cables for those stupid controllers because they were a little bit short. But once I played a couple games, I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm fine now. So anyway.
Fair enough.
Anyway, should we call the stream here?
Yeah, so another quick thing to mention, kind of off topic here, but Tony Todd died yesterday. Now, for those of you gamers who don't know Tony Todd, he was very prolific in the video game industry, did a lot of voice work for various games. He also was responsible for a bunch of horror movies and Broadway plays. So he was the actor for the movie Candyman, so if you guys remember the Candyman horror movies, he was from that. He was also featured in the Final Destination movies as the Undertaker in those. More recently, he was in Spider-Man 2 by Insomniac Games as the voice of Venom. And his final project ever before his death is out next month, which is the upcoming Indiana Jones game. So that's coming out next...
He also played Worf's brother Kern on Star Trek Next Generation and on Deep Space Nine.
That is true.
And he also played the adult Jake Sisko on one of the Deep Space Nine episodes.
Yep, that is true. I forgot about that, actually. But yeah, so his last project ever, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, comes out next month on the Xbox Series X. So if you have Game Pass on your Xbox Series X, that game will be free for you, and you'll be able to download that on December 9th. As for PS5, we are getting the game as well, but we'll have to wait until next spring, so 2025, probably around March or April. But yeah, that's all I really had to say. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you very much to Stu's Game Reviews for tuning into tonight's live stream and giving us some really cool insight into all of these games. It's a shame that some of them, quite a few of them, were not really playable, but I mean, it was still fun regardless. I did find that this DLC was a lot shorter than the other one. It just felt like it was over before it started. So that's maybe the only downside I really had to this collection. It didn't seem to be too many interviews or anything. It was just mostly bombarded with games that didn't work, and that's about it.
Yeah, a little disappointing, but at least they released a new physical version that has the DLC in it. That's a cool thing too.
Yeah, no, that is. But yeah, until then, guys, check out Stu's game reviews. He has epic content on his channel, especially if you're into Atari 2600 games and Commodore 64 and all that kind of fun stuff. TRS-80 as well. So if you guys are interested in all that kind of stuff, check out his channel, Stu's Game Reviews. I'll put a link into the description of this live stream. As well, guys, if you missed any of the previous live streams, you can check them out in my playlist section. I cover PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, and VR games. If any of that interests you, consider liking and subscribing. And again, in my playlist section, there is a joint collaboration section, which is where I've worked with YouTubers like Stu's Game Reviews and Olav Productions. You can find their videos in that section. So anytime I've worked with them on any of their streams, I copy their live streams into that section, the joint collaboration section. That'll link you straight up to their YouTube channels as well. And also the Pirates of the Geek Vortex podcast is in the playlist section as well. That's a podcast that I co-host every Friday at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's where we discuss the latest in movies, TV shows, board games, video games, basically everything nerdy. So check that out in the playlist section as well. And until then, guys, have a wonderful night. We'll be back in a couple of days with another live stream of sorts. I think we're going to go into the part 2 of Lollipop Chainsaw Remake, and that'll be out in a couple of days.
I'm gonna play it on my Xbox.
You're going to play it on your Xbox? I am too. I wish I could stream it on my Xbox. Now, granted, I did speak to Joshua over at Adventure Game Hotspot. He got early access to a demo of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and it's about a 4-hour demo that he got access to, and he's going to talk to them and see if he can stream it on his channel. So in the meantime, until December 8th, if you guys can subscribe to Adventure Game Hotspot, check him out. He may be streaming that game sooner than we'll be able to see it. So it's going to be...
What game?
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Indiana Jones? Oh, okay, maybe it's something else. Well, I'm looking at the physical editions of this Atari 50 expanded, and for Switch they have a Steelbook edition, which apparently is only for Switch. They don't have it for PS5. I don't know why. The Steelbook edition, aside from the Steelbook, it comes with some retro Atari art cards, miniature Atari arcade marquee signs, and Al Alcorn replica business card.
Okay, yeah. That's also coming out for PC and stuff like that too. Because I remember reading about that on Limited Run. Limited Run talked about bringing that out for PC. With with the exact same shit. So I would check out Limited Run, and it should be on there. But yes, I saw that, the Al Alcorn Syzygy card and all that stuff, yeah. But anyway, thank you very much to everybody tuning in, and thank you to everybody who decided to subscribe tonight and who subscribed in general. Always greatly appreciated. And again, in a couple of days, we'll do some of Lollipop Chainsaw Remake, as well as some other games as well. So until then, guys, have a...
Sorry.
What the hell was that?
That was the chainsaw.
Oh. Okay. That was
Check
a
out
pretty...
my channel too.
No, no. Here's what's going to happen. Nobody subscribe to his channel until he does a better chainsaw impression, because that was pitiful.
Well, if you join my channel and subscribe to it, I'll do a chainsaw impression on the channel.
There you go. Or he'll do his Cedric impression for the 1000th time.
Well, I can do that. I'm good at Cedric.
I know. I know.
We only have 3 people here. I don't want to torture them. Torture the loyal viewers right now. So.
All right, guys.
Thanks, everybody, for being here.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Take care. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you soon at the Gamers Grotto. Take care once again, guys. Have a great one. We'll see you in a couple of days for Lollipop Chainsaw. Have a good one.